Oh, my lord. Lordy, lordy. Janet just turned 40. And how's she going to get her groove back? By talking about aliens. And talking to the aliens. And hopefully maybe, communing with them. And learning how they operate and how they function. What about them aliens? What about them aliens? Know what I mean? Jelly bean? Well. Here we all are again. All of us? Well, all me anyway. I'm here. I'm here again. My name... I almost said my name. My name is Goose. That's not my real name. I think pretty much anyone, who knows anything would know that that's not a person's real name. I don't think many people are named Goose. I don't know that many people in the history of the entire world have been called Goose, as their actual name. It's usually just a nickname. So, it's not my real name, but I'm Goose, and you can refer to me as such. I do a live stream 4 days a week. And that's usually Monday through Thursday. We sometimes talk about political shit. We sometimes talk about aliens. We sometimes talk about ghosts. But most of all, we like to have a good time. And if you'd like to have a good time, then please like and subscribe and share the stream and help us grow and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's not your responsibility. It's my responsibility to be entertained. And gosh darn it if I don't try. All right? Today we're going to be talking about alien disclosure. And... sorry, on the vertical stream, I forgot to switch scenes. Here I go. Hello, hi. So, disclosure. It's crazy. It's been happening. It's a thing. The government has been having hearing after hearing after hearing about it. And this has been going on for quite some time. I would say since Trump's first administration, we've been trying to get UFO and UAP disclosure to happen. And it was kind of one of his sort of minor platform points in the 2016 election. It became a bigger platform point in the 2020 election. So... I mean, not the 2020 election, the 2024 election. So, I mean, gosh, it's hard to believe that so much time has passed. Just keeps passing. Just time keeps going on. I keep feeling both younger and older. Oh, sorry, I forgot to grab my conspiracy hat. I gotta grab my NASA hat. I'll be right back. No, I'm not feeding you. Not yet. There we go. All right. I got my conspiracy hat on. I forgot to have that on yesterday. Or no, I forgot to have that on this morning. I did have it on yesterday. Gotta stay consistent, Alright. So I'm finishing a granola bar. You gotta eat, right? Hey, Skippy, what's up? What is up, my dude? So yesterday we were talking about how Barron Trump is a time traveler, and how Aryan white, kind of eugenic / Nazi adjacent early humans, Aryan, blonde hair, blue eyes, European looking, if that makes any sense, were ushered into underground caves and structures by a race of domineering serpent people that might be aliens. They might have evolved deep within the earth. We don't know. But apparently Barron Trump has come back to warn us about impending nuclear holocaust. all right? And so it's really important that we listen to young Baron, and that we not encourage him to be drafted, because, you know, he might die in a war. And if he's back to warn us John Teeter style, in fact, he may be John Teeter, then I think that's important. I think we should keep him away from conflict. You know, he should be protected. Spiritually. Not just by the Secret Service. AKA the Men in Black. Anywho, apparently, in the late 1800s, there was a series of books, I think around three books total, that were essentially about Baron Trump, and about how he protected the U.S. With from being nuked or something. I don't know. I don't remember. The summary, I believe. Well, we're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. This originally came out in the zeitgeist about 8 years ago, when a random YouTuber, and the rest of his videos are not available anymore online. So I think it might have just been his only claim to fame, but it might have been like a series of. He said he was going to make a series of videos, but it ended up only being a 3-part series. We watched each of them. I will take your place, Baron. Skippy, you don't have to go to war to die for Baron. But so it was a 3-part series, and we learned about how Baron Trump is essentially living out the life of a character, Baron Trump, from the book series Baron Trump and His Amazing Underground Adventures, or something like that. He's an adventurer. He has a mentor named Dawn. He protects the U.S. from collapse. He protects his home country from collapse. I don't know if he lives in the U.S., but there's like this universe in which a extreme left wing politically is protesting against the government. They don't get what they want, and so they nuke the government. And this breaks America into 3 pieces, which is North, South, and West America. And so they're trying to get all this to match Baron Trump's actual life. Brett Cooper doesn't seem to buy it. Not that, you know, Brett Cooper should be really trusted with her opinion on anything, but she doesn't seem to buy it. She doesn't seem to buy the idea, and it's perhaps seemingly more ridiculous to her than it is to the people on TikTok that we've seen talking about it, but more importantly to the 3 videos that we've seen, to that one guy at least. Is your underwear clean? Gosh, I hope so. I actually don't famously wear underwear, typically only on special occasions.
Tesla's uncanny abilities and mysterious visions.
So I'll just take this back a little bit, because there is a little bit of additional context that goes with this, but we'll take it back just a tiny little bit so that she can kind of lead us back off into the void, and let us descend even deeper. Which is a song by 9 Inch Nails. You look like Obama. Okay, weird.
G. Trump worked for the FBI. Now, when Nikola Tesla, G. Trump
talk has to say.
Here we go. Okay.
Donald Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, worked for the FBI.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some water.
Now, when Nikola Tesla died, they sent him in because he's a scientist, he's a physicist, engineer, smart guy. So they're like, hey, go in to Nikola Tesla's, room and decipher all his works and whatnot. Because, Nikola Tesla discovered free energy and a multitude of things, right? So Donald Trump's uncle goes in there and says, we didn't find anything. A bunch of BS. You don't think that Nikola Tesla, who had discovered free energy and manipulated electromagnetism, which had that you can, in theory.
Oh, by the way, if you're joining, hello, or if you're just joining, hello, welcome.
This man's works was confiscated
Stick around
by him,
for a bit.
He didn't find anything.
So that is the theory that has taken TikTok by hold. And you might be thinking, okay, Brett, like this is so weird. It is TikTok, brain rot. Who even are these podcasters with the dramatic music behind it? Like, no. Let's just, cut the tape. Let's move on. This is crazy. But here's the thing. They aren't necessarily saying anything that's untrue because Trump's FBI uncle did, after his death, go through Tesla's research. Listen to this. On January 9th, 1943, 2 days after Nikola Tesla died destitute.
Right, but my argument for this entire thing so far has been that retrospect can do a lot for us. We can look back on things that were written over 100 years ago, almost 100 years ago, and we can take a look and we can be like, oh, wow, that almost seems like it applies to things that are happening right now. We can very easily do that. I can take a look, like, let's say that there's, like, political upheaval, and I'm writing a book that is, like, basically Goose's Guide on How to Live Life. It has all the important tenets of what makes a good society and what makes a good person, all this kind of stuff, and there's, like, political upheaval happening. If I'm sitting on the back end of that, I can take all the stuff that's political and I can add it to that book, and I can be like, here's how we can, and maybe I can tell a story, some allegories, or maybe I can say it like it's a prophecy, like it's gonna happen. I could say political upheaval is gonna happen. There's gonna be a lot of people who are trying to silence innocent voices, and then I can put in that manuscript, don't let people silence your voice. Right? Like, retrospect allows us to see and alter the recorded history and reality of the time at which whatever document was written. And so, if we take a look at some things that are happening right now, because on a long enough timeline, a lot of stuff happens, a big variety of things happen, and you can pretty much match a whole lot of narratives, especially to someone who's in the public eye, like Trump or his son, you can make that fit a lot of narratives of, like, things that were prophesied to happen, especially if we take a look at these early 1900s books that were fictional. It's like we can take a look at Jules Verne and we can say, like, 40,000 Leagues Under the Sea depicted a colossal squid because we know that the colossal squid exists now. You know what I'm saying? So now we know the colossal squid exists. Now we can take this and we can look at the lens from back in the day, from when Jules Verne was writing. We could be like, that's what he was thinking about. When we don't know, it's not even described like a squid. I'm pretty sure it's described like an octopus. So, I don't know. I don't know what people seem to have a problem with with knowing the difference between something that's like a prediction about something that has yet to come, and then a portent or a prophecy or something that was made a very long time ago to depict something that perhaps was just a metaphor for the time, or perhaps was just, some innocuous thing that happened that has nothing to do with whatever you're projecting onto it. So that's my explanation for this whole, like, Baron Trump time traveler thing. Like, we've thought about this time traveling thing for generations upon generations, and it feels like if somebody was going to invent it and then come back and tell us they invented it, that they would have done so by now. Unless there's, like, I don't know, unless there's some huge reason why you can't tell people that time travel exists, because plenty of people believe it. I don't personally, but plenty of people believe it exists and that people are already using it, including the likes of Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, who are saying that Charlie Kirk was a fucking time traveler.
In a New York City hotel, the FBI called MIT professor and a
Just so you guys know, the belief in magic and the belief in aliens and the belief in, like, all these supernatural, preternatural things usually comes from either depression, boredom, or a lack of interest in your own life. So take that as you will.
Deemed electrical engineer John G. Trump to determine if any of the belongings in the investor's estate, which included a purported weapon of mass destruction that Tesla called the Death Ray, would be dangerous if they fell into enemy hands. So that actually...
Who's the enemy
that's
here,
Trump's
though?
connection to Nikola Tesla. And there is a theory out there that Nikola Tesla was already time traveling, in a sense, that he was, receiving information from the future. He was possibly even in contact with aliens.
Right.
I know you're probably going like, Brett, hold on. But guys, this is not even like a weird 4chan TikTok theory. Look at this clip from the History Channel.
Right, she's saying that he was a time traveler, and she's saying that he was perhaps in contact with aliens, and then the thing that she says, because it's like, oh no, I gotta say it, and then I gotta distance myself from it, And then I gotta provide evidence for how it's actually happening. Isn't that strange? She says that, Nikola Tesla was time traveling, he was in contact with aliens, but don't take my word for it. Here's the proof. Ancient aliens.
Some ancient astronaut theorists
Wait, that's not reliable?
believe there may be another explanation for Tesla's uncanny ability.
You notice how they say some ancient astronaut theorists. I find it funny that people believe a man can become a woman and have a hard time believing this. Well, I mean, but trans people exist, and so does the medical data on trans people. So, does medical data on aliens exist? Does medical data on God exist? Once they can prove that God exists, then I'll be like, okay, maybe we should divide our time between helping people become who they really are and a magical deity. And it doesn't matter if you believe that a man can become a woman, you still have to believe that trans men and trans women exist, because they exist. Sorry. Sorry, Randall.
Abilities and
I
mysterious
hope that your
visions.
tiny world can comport with reality.
They suggest
Randall.
these spontaneous episodes are proof that Tesla was receiving information from an otherworldly source.
These images would
History Channel was great before they did all these reality shows. Don't they? Aren't all of them reality shows? Isn't that what space studies are like? Right? Space studies, like that's all reality, right? They are a man or woman play a different gender. You mean cosplaying? I mean, it's in the DSM. There's actually like psychological data that goes with what comes from not having your gender affirmed. It used to actually be a seen as a psychological disturbance and was in the DSM as a psychological disorder, but they did the research and they did the studies, and that's been over the last like 15 years, 20 years, something like that, and they've sampled quite a few tens of thousands of people, you know. Yeah, Skippy, I mean, yeah, if he wants to be a chud, let him be a chud. It's his family that doesn't like him, it's not me. I don't hate anybody, I hope that you come to your senses before it's too late, you know. Go soak your wiener in some shit, because that's the only hole you can get. That's really intelligent, and I'm so glad that you were able to express yourself freely here. I know that you probably don't get to do that very often, So does psychopath. Well, I don't know what you're referring to. If you'd like to explain, I'd be happy to entertain it, but I don't know what so does psychopath mean. You know that... You mean in the DSM? I guess shows what you know. Show me where it tells me how to get diagnosed as a psychopath in the DSM. I'd love to know.
would literally burst into his mind. Somehow, somewhere, some connection was made. And it's the same way that biblical prophets received their prophecy.
Oh shit!
Nikola
Oh
Tesla
shit, Tesla was a prophet!
Clearly in touch with something.
Did you guys know that?
You have to wonder.
Tesla
if
was a prophet of
extraterrestrials
Jesus
themselves
Christ.
Weren't feeding him
Well, shit.
images of inventions that
That means aliens are angels. Did you guys know that? Aliens are angels. And isn't it strange how Randall, needs to be hateful in order to justify his belief in aliens? Isn't that weird? That's so strange. That's such, tiny penis energy.
only he could understand.
I mean, the entire
So
thing just
weird,
freaks me out.
Randall.
I've
Why
watched
you
that
gotta be
clip
so
multiple times
weird?
now as I've been putting together the episode. I get chills every single time. I don't like thinking of
Right. She gets chills, meaning she's fully on board with this. You know how, she keeps trying to distance herself, but every time she makes a comment on it, it's like, wow, I totally believe this. Anyway, let me describe how there's no way that anyone intelligent could ever believe this.
about those things.
Brett.
It is very unnerving to me.
Brett.
Personally. I also loved this comment underneath History Channel's video, and somebody said, imagine being so intelligent that people think you are in contact with aliens, which is pretty epic. So now tying this all back together,
See, she does the little, she distances herself just a little bit, but then she's like, oh yeah, totally on board. Hey guys, this is based on truth. It's all based on truth. Anyway, I know, it sounds really ridiculous, right? It sounds so ridiculous. It's like the self-defeating sort of stuff that really insecure men do when they're in fights against their girlfriends. Oh, well, I guess I'm just an asshole then, aren't I? Oh, well, I guess I'm just insecure. Oh, well, I guess I just have a tiny penis then. Fine. Oh, fine. I guess I'm just a womanizer. I guess I'm just experiencing past trauma that's influencing how I interact with my current relationships. Oh, fine. Oh, well, I guess I'm introspecting. I guess I'm projecting now. I guess I'm processing things. Oh, I guess things are in my superego, and now they're up in my ego, and now I'm having processed. Oh. Self shit, or same shit.
Alleged conspiracy goes that what actually happened 2 days after Nikola Tesla's death was that Trump's uncle did find something in his hotel room. He found Tesla's time.
He found plans for the death ray. How many times do we have to spell it out? I mean, we're just harvesting death rays right now. We are keeping death rays under lock and key, and all of this, even the Epstein stuff, all right? Even all that, there's no secret cabal of the rich who are trying to traffic children. Why would anyone think that? That's a distraction. It's all to distract us from how they've been replicating and creating a death ray. Millions of so many death rays. Enough death rays so that every single person can wear one as a wearable on Earth. Every single person. Death rays. That's what it's all been about. That's what all this alien stuff has been about. That's what all this time-traveling Baron Trump stuff has been about. That's what ghosts are about. All right? That's what all the religions have been about. It's all been about this death ray stuff. Can you believe it? Can you believe that our government would lie to us this way? Can you believe they would hide this from us? From us, the people? We, the people? Can you believe it? Can you believe that they would hide this from... I cannot. Ooh, I'm so mad at the government right now. I'm so mad at Brett Cooper. Oh, I'm so mad at you, Brett.
Travel plans, and now the entire Trump family, maybe some elites, but the Trump family for sure, has access to this kind of technology, and that runs congruently with Baron, the time-traveling boy from the 1800s theory as well. Or the other theory is that Lockwood, the author, was just some kind of prophet. So there are two theories here. Trump family time.
Okay, so that's how she's justifying it, is by saying that the author, who apparently, like, because now there's going to require some logic here. So, Brett Cooper is a conservative who believes in God. And if we are to assume that somebody who is predicting the future is not demonic in any way, then we kind of have to just assume that if you're telling the future, if you're sharing stuff about time traveling, that you must be holy, you must be like godlike, right? So, if the author, who is predicting the future with Baron Trump in it, if he's doing that and we don't want to see him as demonic, Pavel says that's a dude. Well, if it is, I support her right to transition. You know, that's not at issue here. What is at issue is the spread of disinformation. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. I'm distracted. I'm doing like 3 things at once here. Hang on. We should let her cook.
Time travelers, a prophet from the 1800s. Maybe they work together. I have no idea. But that...
Right. Sorry. The point I was making was that if you're a time traveler, you have to be a Christian, or else you're a demonic entity, and you're probably here to deceive people. All right. So you better be worshiping Jesus. You better have a cross on that time machine when it shows up. All right? Or else we're going to burn you up. We're going to burn you at the stake as a witch.
That is what people are talking about. Now, there is also a whole other rabbit hole you can go down with Tesla. The theory is that he was murdered by the government because he found out how to make energy free, which you can read.
I believe Brett Cooper's also a Zionist, if I remember my quotes correctly.
Here, it claims that Nikola Tesla discovered a way to provide unlimited or nearly free wireless electricity to the world, and that powerful bankers, industrialists, or the government stepped in because it would destroy energy profits. Now, people love this theory. A lot of people are 100% sold on...
Well, no. I know that a lot of people on the right like to live in this wonderful candy land of ideal 1950s bliss where America was great again. But no, I mean, people will find a way to monetize just about anything. Even if, we came out and said, hey, there's a way to power cars with just water. People would still find a way to monetize it. It's not like corporations are just going to give up commodifying everything. That's why they exist in the first place. Started out as a business, and they realized they could make money by exploiting people, and there you go. corporations.
On it. It's also very in line with theories like the sinking of the Titanic, where people claim that JP Morgan, who owned the parent company of the Titanic, was one of the creators of the Federal Reserve, that he
Okay, now that's not too outlandish of a conspiracy theory as far as I understand. It's not... it's probably not true, but it's also not outside the realm of possibility. I think anything that you can point to that counts as like corporate espionage or like financial gamesmanship, I would have a hard time not believing. But I think it's like the most outlandish ones that we can just kind of dismiss. It's like, oh, well, reptilians. Nah, it's, oh, well, the Majestic 12. No, it's like all of them. There's not just 12 of these guys. Like, it's the three corporations that rule the world. It's whoever the most powerful politicians are at the time, and then whoever they feel like is important to show up to. Like, whoever would be going to the Eyes Wide Shut party. You know, like, it's not just 12 of them. There's a few more than that. And it's pretty much, it's supposed to be rich versus poor, but unfortunately we don't see it that way.
He actually sunk the ship because allegedly three major opponents...
Wait, JP Morgan himself sunk it? He pulled the trigger?
Establishing the Fed were on board. They were going to try to convince him, or they were going to stop him from being able to establish the Fed. He was also supposed to get on the Titanic and sail with them. He got ill last minute and pulled out. Then mysteriously, the ship, hit an iceberg and sunk, not trying to go down.
I mean, it's not that mysterious. They were traveling through waters in, like, they had to take, what, like a detour, right? Like, there was some kind of inclement weather or something like that. I don't remember the whole story, but I think that they detoured. Oh, no, what was it? They went off course? I don't remember. I don't remember what happened. I don't want to, like, speak on it because I might be inaccurate, but from what I understand, there was a reason why they were where they were and came into contact with the iceberg, and it was not because of magnets. That's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would love to have a spirited discussion on why you think the Titanic was brought down by microwave technology, but I haven't heard convincing evidence yet.
Down more rabbit holes.
But I wouldn't be surprised. Again, this is not something that would surprise me. I would totally be on board with believing that somebody would, for financial reasons, sink the Titanic.
Just saying those theories are kind of connected there, just throwing it all out there. Now, speaking of throwing things out, have you made...
Just asking questions. I'm just asking questions, guys.
...the switch to Pure Talk? Now, paying 70, 80...
Wait, hang on. Before we get even further into this sensationalist supernatural talk that is mass appeal, let me advertise something to you first. It's my fucking, this goddamn wireless carrier service that I probably have stake in. Ew! And fucking anti-abortion activism. Gross. Go fuck yourself. And she spends how much time on this? So that's, hang on. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 270 seconds she spends on an advertisement. 2 advertisements. Back-to-back ad reads. Can you believe that? Guys, I promise, if you help this channel grow, I'll only ever do 1 ad read per video. Because what the fuck? Because that's obnoxious. And I swear, I promise, hand to screen, I will never do those obnoxious fucking coming up scenes at the beginning of every video. God damn it.
Time traveling conspiracies, because we still have more. So to make this entire thing just crazy,
I'm ready for it.
Everybody's talking about Aaron Trump. They're talking
Crescendo
about
it.
1800s
I'm ready.
Donald Trump.
Let's
At
do
the
it.
same time, simultaneously on social media, there are a few other time traveling allegations that have also gone.
That's gay. What's gay? Like almost everything is gay. What's gay? Pretty much anything you name can be gay.
Viral. For example, this was
So it's not really an insult. I hope you weren't meaning it as an insult, because it's a bad one. Anything, we really could just take that as a compliment. Sunsets are gay. Oh, cool. Well, hell yeah. Sweet, dude. Sunsets are beautiful, so I guess being gay must be beautiful. Fucking a baby's laughter's gay. Okay. It's one of the coolest, it's one of the best sounds in the world for a parent. I guess that's gay. Yeah. There you go. Luai.
an email that Jeffrey Epstein was CC'd on in 2011, and it went viral after the most recent drop of some of the Epstein files. So
And don't worry, guys. Epstein totally didn't help find the pole board on 4chan. Totally not. No proof of that whatsoever.
This email, this person says, Seth,
Go.
we should explore the biological consequences of time travel. It would be amusing to calculate the rate of evolution of a population or a mutant that can travel in time. Signed, M. Casual. Why not, Seth? Let's just CC Jeffrey. Why not? It's
Signed M? Now, who's that? Signed M? Seth. And who's Seth? Oh, I guess he was just CCing Jeffrey Epstein. But Seth who? Seth... someone in the government? Or... and who's M? And why would they be talking about the biological consequences of time travel? Right? Isn't that weird?
Signed, M. Casual. Why not, Seth? Let's just CC Jeffrey. Why not? It's a Monday afternoon. What time did they send this? 2 p.m. on a Monday afternoon. Let's explore it. Why not? It would be amusing.
You mean around the time people first start getting high? Seems to be a direct correlation there to me.
To see what would happen to a society if time travel was real. So that went viral a couple of months ago. Now, in addition to that, there have been a few instances of inactive X accounts allegedly predicting the future. For example, people found a random X account.
Yes! You can look at anything with retrospect and you can say, oh, I guess they predicted the future. Fucking Christ.
That only had one post. In
The two
2023,
towers go
this
down. And like we look at Socrates' stanza, or not Socrates, we look at fucking Nostradamus stanzas, and we're like, we take a look at like there's a pillar of fire and flame. Oh shit, that's the World Trade Center. Holy shit, that's the buildings. No, come on, man. He says that in one stanza, and it's a pillar of burning fire. It has nothing to do with buildings.
person posted the name of the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter, Cole Allen. Nothing else. Never posted any other thing, just simply his name, Cole Allen.
Gosh, it's not like he might have been around at that time as like a kid, maybe with sock accounts. And it looks like, because the name was in bold, it looks like he was tagged in a post. So if it was in a reply to something, there's someone's either sock account or their friend who's just trying to point them to something. I see that shit on Instagram all the fucking time. People will tag somebody in like a story or a post just to point them to that post. And what the fuck do you think the chances are of somebody out there named Cole or with the last name Allen? I'm sure it's not like on the most frequently named, kids list, but I would venture to say that it's not like there's some like rarity to the names Cole or Allen. Like, what?
Allen in December of 2023. Now where this really gets trippy and like makes the hair on my arm stand up a little bit.
Right, so 3 years ago, acknowledging that maybe this guy has existed for some number of years. I don't know, he looks like he's in his 30s. So he's been around for at least 30 years. If he hates Trump enough to go and like try to assassinate him, the chances are he's probably on social media. Maybe has some inactive accounts on Twitter. Maybe might even have some active accounts on Twitter. Maybe some with like a fucking Pepe frog in the avatar. Why? How is this a conspiracy or time travel?
Is that Cole Allen interned at NASA in 2014, and that happened to be the same year that NASA released a paper that was co-authored by a man named Henry Martinez. Look at the name on this X account, Henry Martinez. Now, Henry and the other authors of this paper...
Right, so that means they knew each other. So that means that this guy named Henry Martinez knew a guy named Cole Allen who worked at NASA with him. They worked together, and the guy happened to be the guy who later goes on to be a shooter, or maybe a shooter, like the suspect of the Correspondents' Dinner thing. Is it so weird that he was on social media? Is it so weird that he maybe worked adjacent to the government, which might be why he's so incensed by the government's choices? Why does this mean aliens? Why does this mean time travel? God damn.
We're all connected to Lockheed Martin, and this...
I guess it makes sense because these are the people who take coincidences and think God. So it makes sense. I mean, the pipeline is right there. Religion, to extremism, to just fucking outright reality denial.
Is the PDF pulled directly from the NASA website. The document ID is there in the hyperlink if you guys want to zoom in and look at that in case anybody really wants to get into the nitty-gritty of this paper, but it is called Testing Orion's Fairing Separation System. And this is really where it gets even weirder for me, because not that this all
And then we're just
wasn't
getting into the
strange
nitty-gritty.
already, but
Now we're
going
gonna get into a bunch of science.
Working at NASA at the same time, obviously. This guy was some kind of researcher, Lockheed Martin. This was an intern, but it was the same.
You just randomly say Lockheed Martin. Okay. You're not saying he worked at Lockheed Martin. You're just throwing the words Lockheed Martin in there. Did he work at Lockheed Martin? What are you saying, Brett? Brett, I love the face that we've paused you on. You look very incredulous. It's okay. It's okay, Brett. It's okay. It's okay. Let me stroke your chin. It's okay. It's okay, Brett. Don't freak out. Don't be freaking out. Oh no, sorry. Kids these days call it crashing out. Don't crash out, Brett. All right? Don't crash out. You'll get it. You'll get it. I'm doing the chin thing that people do. You'll get it, Brett. Don't worry. You'll get it.
Same year, maybe they crossed paths. Did they chat in the cafeteria? Like, did he know him? Did he just make a random...
They worked in the same fucking place! Seems like they were both researchers. So yeah. Yeah, I'd say probably good chance. Good fucking chance. Trump on his visit with Xi. He's pretty tall for those people. Who, Trump is? I think the average height for people in China is like 4'2". That's been my understanding. 4'2". They're actually called pygmies. I don't know if you knew that, but which is also kind of a bit of a racist name. But Chinese people are called pygmies. I don't know if you knew that, Skippy. I don't know if you were aware of that. It's a new revelation. Trump actually, when he discovered that term. I don't know if you knew that.
Opposed to the same? I don't know.
In 1980.
Maybe they knew each other, was my first thought. But no, when you look into it, Henry Martinez from NASA
Don't
was
check up
working
on that.
the Orion program, which was based in Houston, Texas. Cole Allen was an intern at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which was based in Pasadena, California.
Right. But there's every chance that there was correspondence. There's every chance that they may have crossed paths in some other sense, like a symposium, or if they had to go to like a conference, or if they were ever in a telemeeting or anything like that with either them or their superiors or their bosses or whoever. There's a bunch of people in the chain of command that could have attached these two people together. It's 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Like, watch. Okay, Skippy, I bet you anything, we could probably determine that we know each other in real life. Not real life. Let's say, let's use a different, I bet you we can probably determine that we know the same person by playing 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. This would actually take way too long if we were to do this legitimately, but I think it's safe to just say that. If we were to just say like all the people that we know and then see if we can find any connections, I'm sure that we would come up with it. It's not outside the realm of possibility that two people disparate in their situations would happen to know each other.
Barely a chance that they cross paths. And now to make things even weirder, I feel like I keep saying that, like, to make it even weirder, let's go further. But I mean, that's really what we're doing here. This same Henry Martinez account has this as its cover photo. I first looked at that and I was like, okay, interesting,
right,
dripping paint, I don't know, abstract, something you'd see at a modern art museum. But then people on X pointed out that that banner is the header of the EU's Time Machine website. And then people took it even further.
So, time travel's cool. A lot of people are into that, especially nerds that work for NASA. Again, it's not that weird.
Because when you alter the image, I don't know how people are doing this, but they realize that it looks eerily similar to Trump at Butler yelling.
Oh, for Christ's sake! Oh my God.
Fight, fight, fight.
If anything, this just lends more credibility to the idea that these assassination attempts have been staged. Because in oh God, why do people believe, like, do you see that? They had to tilt it. They had to tilt it, and they had to make it fit. Don't you people understand fuck? Don't you guys know how to investigate shit?
Header of the EU's time.
Does that honestly look like anything? I think really the only people who would notice that it looks like the fucking thing in Butler County would probably just be looking at that photo all the time. It's some kind of maybe they have it as like their phone's goddamn sleep screen or some shit. But you've got to be looking at that photo pretty often to see it in other things through pareidolia. Holy shit.
Time machine website. And then people took it even further. Because when you alter the image, I don't know how people are doing this, but they realize that it looks eerily
But they're not even altering that image. They're just taking a fucking a PNG of Trump and placing it over where they think it fits on the picture.
To Trump at Butler yelling fight,
the fuck?
fight. As you can see right there. Like I saw all of this and I was like, oh my god, I'm literally going crazy. I need to pull my head out.
I feel that too. I feel like you're going crazy. I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like we're surrounded by idiots.
Out of the sand and to go touch some grass because I am like going down too many rabbit holes. Like I understand how people online lose their minds because this is all so crazy. I cannot even fathom how people.
Yes, but see, the difference between us is that I need to see more proof to even believe any of it, whereas this has you swallowing it like fucking like it's honey straight down the throat, smooth and sweet, delicious in its sensationalism. I don't get it. I don't just instantly believe the things that people are and then feel like I have to make excuses like, oh, I know this sounds crazy, but here's the proof.
People went down this rabbit hole in the first place and made these connections. I am not that expert of a researcher. I am just compiling the information for you guys in an interesting story, but it truly is.
You're not really a researcher if all you're doing is taking tweets and stringing them together to make a narrative. That's not research.
Wild, but I hate to tell ya, we still aren't finished. We have more to dive into because another random inactive account, this one back in 2022, seemingly predicted the 2026 outbreak of hantavirus that the world is now seeing unfold.
Any pandemic, anything like that can be predicted with some reliability because all we have to do is look at CDC trends and take a look at like where the most, the easiest vectors for spreading are and where the most at-risk communities are. Something like hantavirus has been present in a lot of different countries for a pretty long time now, and they've so far been doing a pretty good job of handling it. We were, separated by an ocean from a lot of that stuff, so we didn't really see a lot of it until very recently. Doesn't mean that we don't know how it works or what communities are most at risk or how it spreads. So a person who's just randomly saying shit, if they're saying like coronavirus 2023 ended, then they could also very easily just know about hantavirus. It's been around for a while. Again, this is one of those things where you're looking at correlation and you're calling it causation. But this is so much of a reach that you're going to aliens and time travel for it. That is a reach. One could easily argue that's a pretty big reach. Brett.
This person said it's Soothsayer account, June 11th, 2022.
If this is your first time on the stream, I'm about to turn off the face cam, but it is only because I engage in the smoking of the cannabis for medical reasons. If you also smoke the cannabis, then please feel free to sync up. You don't have to. I'm not that kind of 420 kind of guy. We do, however, have an announcement to make for the channel. We've finally hit 420 subscribers, which is a cause to celebrate. So if you do happen to engage in smoketh of the cannabis, then please feel free to hit one for the celebration of the channel hitting 420 subscribers. We're on the road to 500, and that's when I finally get channel memberships. Well, the watch time is really the biggest goal. If I can get the watch time up to 3,000 hours, don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do that. You just have to grow your channel, honestly, is really the thing about it. But if we can get there, maybe we'll have another celebration. But we are gonna celebrate a little bit of 420, just because I do it medically. Rizzy Chips, what's up? How's it going? Alright, I'm going to let this play, but I am going to turn off the face cam. I promise I am still here.
2023, Corona ended. 2026, hantavirus. And if you don't know, there is a strain of a rat virus. I think it is transported through like rat feces, but there is also a human strain called
it's airborne, and I know that this is true in some of the European and Slavic countries that I've heard hantavirus is present in. It's like you can breathe in the particles from like a rat turd and it'll get you sick. So that's apparently it's really virulent, which is something that scares the shit out of me, but I guess that's how it spreads. I actually didn't know that. I thought it was like you had to eat something that's contaminated with rat feces, or you had to like something, I thought it was way more like immediate contact style than it is. It's crazy.
Hantavirus. There was an outbreak on a cruise
All right,
ship.
I'm going to count it down. We're going in 3, 2, 1. Smoke them if you got them. Cheers. And congratulations to me for 420 subscribers.
I don't know, but it's weird. So yeah, take that as you will. Maybe time travel really does exist. Maybe everybody in the world gets to play with it except for us. I have no idea. Or maybe these are just a bunch of very, very odd coincidences. Now, as a little aside, before we get into the final chapter of this episode, I do want to say all of this reminds me of a really fun time traveling TV show that I watched many years ago. It actually came out in 2016. It was called Timeless. It only had 2 seasons, but I loved it. Like, if you like this kind of stuff, sci-fi, but also you're a history buff, there's a little bit of romance in there. If you want more of this, go check it out. I love it. I might go rewatch it. I'm pissed that they never renewed it after that 2nd season, but anyway, go watch it. It's called Timeless. If you want more of this type of thing, you will enjoy it. Anyway, again, I don't know how many times I can say it. It just gets weirder. All of this is...
It's really strange to see how Brett Cooper has adjusted to a non-sensationalist role after being fired from the Daily Wire. Supposedly she was fired because she was too conservative, but she's only said one conservative thing. YSL Steel smash. I guess if I was single and ready to mingle, I guess I'd agree. Especially in this, again, as I was describing, she seems a lot more tame. But it's still the anti-abortion thing that I don't think I'd be into. For a few reasons, mostly because it's a monstrous stance to take, but also, for other reasons. If we were in a relationship, for other reasons. We are not. I'm happily married. But that stance is not something that is sustainable for the kinds of relationships that I used to have.
Is so crazy. And I personally find stories like this, deep dives like this, really interesting, very entertaining and intriguing. Some online, I know, will call this brain rot. They're like, why is Brett Cooper giving this time?
No, memes are like brain rot, right? Like, can someone who knows brain rot better than I do explain it to me? I'm pretty sure that it's just memes. Like, I don't think that it's actually informational stuff. And this conspiracy theory is couched in a lot of like technological and sciencey mumbo jumbo, and so I don't think that a lot of people who are into brain rot would be into it, but I don't know. I guess I don't know,
But I actually think that there is something really interesting and relevant
My sinuses!
from all of this, and that actually goes back to Lockwood's book, The Last President. And this is where I kind of want to take a step back from the time travel aspect and actually look at what Lockwood was writing about. And sure, some people might say, yes, it's a prophecy. He was from the...
Nope, because the reason she's going to get into this is because Lockwood was really, like, he would not have been a fan of Antifa. He was very against the socialism and the communism and all that kind of stuff that people on the right call socialism and communism these days. He is not very a feminist kind of guy. He's not really, like, a big fan of equality, so... I'm going to guess that she's about to talk about The Last President, because that's the book in which I believe basically Antifa nukes Washington, D.C. So I guess I'm interested to see what she's going to say about it, because she's been really reserved in her conservatism. Like, normally she's like, or like on the Daily Wire, she was like, oh, like the woke left extreme mind virus, trans ideology, cat litter in classrooms. She was like one of those kind of guys. She was like one of those kind of people. And so far, she's been really tame in this. So I guess we'll see. This could be when she's been saving it up, or what she's been saving it up for,
the future. He knew what was going to happen. But we can also just say that in 2026, we are simply repeating American history. Because when you actually look at what was happening in America in 1896 when Lockwood wrote The Last President, it is almost disorienting how familiar everything feels. Because in 1896, we had a country that had just come through a massive economic collapse, and there was a massive wealth discrepancy. And this was the Golden Age. There was also a TV show based on that if you want to go watch that. But regular people in America were watching wealth be consolidated at the very tippity top of society. Meanwhile, their families were being foreclosed, their wages were being crushed. Like the entire political and economic system was rigged against them, which honestly,
camera, please.
Was
Camera, please.
True story that we're dealing with now. Meanwhile, the world was experiencing rapid change in terms of industry. There was rapid industrialization and innovation that was dramatically changing the job landscape and career paths for young people. It was changing wages forever. So everybody in the world was having to adapt to that. And so around this time, then in walks a populist candidate. This is a true story. He's a Democrat, William Jennings Bryan. He was this unhinged, crazy outsider that terrified the establishment in DC in America, but he electrified normal Americans. He made them feel empowered. He made them feel like they had a chance to stand up against the man, like he was their voice up in Washington. And that candidate, William Jennings.
Wait, let me turn the clock back here. When YSL Steel said smash, they were talking about me. That's the canon. That's the canon. It's become lore. It's now fully canon. Nobody can argue against it. They meant that they want to smash me because they think I'm really sexy and attractive, okay? So don't double check with them. Do not double check with them. That's what they meant. And that's how I'm going to take it. From now on, my canon has changed. That's the lore. YSL Steel wants to bang me.
Bryan, he was the inspiration behind Lockwood's protagonist in the book, The Last President. So all around the country, which Lockwood writes about, this is like in real American history, protests were firing off as angry, disgruntled Americans were standing up to this big business, big government. The anarchist and socialist movements really took hold around that time. Like the unrest in the country was just incredibly, incredibly significant. And essentially, Americans, in large part, thanks to this political outsider who ran, I think, 3 times for president, he never won though, they started to realize... and the conspiracy theorists, she's actually being very fair. I'm really surprised. She's being very fair right now. The people who are using this as a conspiracy theory, especially the guy whose videos we watched yesterday, the 3-part series, he was using this as a way to associate Trump with the so-called, outsider candidate that he was talking about. He was describing Trump's first presidency. And he was changing sort of the narrative of the stories to be like predictive of Trump because the guy was a Trump supporter. But so is she. And she's being way more fair in her assessment because she's actually tying this to the reality of the time, which is insane. That's something that only a good faith biblical believer would do. Fucking kudos to Brett. I still don't like her. So I'd still say pass if we were to retcon the canon that we just established from YSL Steel, from them wanting to bang me to them wanting to bang Brett. We now believe that YSL Steel actually just wants to bang me, and they were saying smash because they were talking about me. And we're not believing anything else from now on. How rigged the system was and how fragile the institutions truly were. Plus, they were all pitted against each other. Cities were burning. Protests were taking hold. Again, like you heard about at the top of the episode, like everybody protesting and marching down Fifth Avenue. That was real. And so I'm thinking about all of this as I'm looking into his book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that sounds familiar. Like,
Okay. She's got a chance here. This is where we lock it in. Either she's gonna go off the deep end, or she's gonna surprise the shit out of me. I'm hoping for surprise because I would like to know that people can change.
I listen to this paragraph from the book. This starts one of the chapters. The fateful year of 99. Upon its coming in, found the Republic.
Hold on. We got to get this read by a real voice acting expert. Okay, I am a accomplished voice actor. Okay, so hang on. I'm accomplished. All right, I've been in a lot of different things that I've made, but I've been in a lot of as an actor role. Okay, so do not diminish my creativity here. Give me a second. I'm gonna read this. Hang on. Let me. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. Hang on. Let me exercise my tongue for a second. Okay. Here we go. All right. If you hate mouth sounds, this is not the stream for you. All right, I'm gonna read it for you guys here. I'm gonna use my best 1890 voice.
Well, the fateful year 1999 or 1899, upon its coming in, found the Republic of Washington in dire and dangerous
Straits. Okay, I didn't do a very good job of that. We'll just let her finish that.
Republic of Washington in dire and dangerous
Kind of an
straits. The
anticlimax.
commercial and
Appreciate that. I
industrial
apologize for
boom
that.
had spent its force, and now the frightful evils of a debased currency, coupled with demoralizing effects
Don't check
of
up on
rampant
that. Don't look at
paternalism,
my
were
resume.
gradually strangling the land to death. Capital, ever timid and distrustful in such times, hid itself in safe deposit vaults or
My
fled
sinuses.
to
Man,
Europe. Labor,
is anybody
although-
else, like, suffering from allergies right now? I take a pill. Like, I take, like, a normal, like, one of those, oh, you only got to take it once a day. I take one of those pills, and, like, it doesn't make me tired like Benadryl does, but it certainly isn't helping. I don't feel like it's helping right now. And I'm not, like, in a valley or a trough, a geographical trough or anything. It just... sinus problems. Just all over the place. My wife, who never gets allergies, is getting allergy problems. Why? Why do you want me to feed you right now? It's still so early. They eat at 11.
Though really hard
they're,
pressed
like,
and
begging for
lacking
it
the
right now.
very necessities of life, was loud-mouthed and defiant. Socialism and anarchism found willing ears into which to pour their burning words of hatred and malevolence. And the consequence was that serious rioting broke out in the larger cities of the North, often taxing the capacities of the local
on, Brett.
authorities to the utmost.
Come on, you can do
like,
it.
I read that paragraph and I was like, that
Come
could
on.
literally be written right now. This is something that would like come into
Okay.
my inbox from a Substacker that I subscribe to, and I would not think anything of it. And yet that was written in 1896. So
Yep.
all of this to say, I'm looking at all of this. I'm, hearing, oh my God,
Talk shit
Lockwood
about the
was
liberals.
this, prophet of sorts. And I'm looking at his novel, his novella, and I see Lockwood writing from a place of fear. He was concerned about what would happen next in this country, considering the political climate that he was living in. And he was
Okay, so far, so good. She may not be terrible anymore. I mean, she might still have terrible views, but she's not expressing them. Which is mysterious. This is very mysterious. Maybe she's projecting, like, she wants to be an actress still. Like, she's in that show that they produced. So, maybe she's trying to clean up her image a little bit.
was exploring what could happen if this outsider that he was watching campaign throughout all of these years, if an outsider like William Jennings Bryan actually got into office. And in my opinion, he did what...
It's either that or that the people at the Daily Wire just wanted her to be, like, super controversial. I mean, which I would not be surprised too. I mean, when we heard about, like, the, InfoWars, like, all the misogyny and shit that was happening there, and then, Breitbart, like, all that shit, like, just terrible companies, and, I can't, so then you hear these prominent women in these spaces going to work for them. It's hard to imagine that they wouldn't be treated just like shit, like, but maybe they don't recognize that. Maybe they think that that's, like, what a professional environment is, that, like, you need to be treated to shit by, like, like your boss or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, why is Ben Shapiro's secretary so animated? She talks with her hands, doesn't she? I thought that I did that. But, like, if that's what that is, then I guess I don't talk with my hands.
great authors do best, which was observing
She's
the world
gesturing too
around
much.
him and writing about it, spinning a tale based on those observations. And I think what we can take away from all of this is that maybe the political landscape that we have found ourselves
It's
in
someone
today that
who
feels
doesn't
so
know
eerily similar to what he
what
was
to
writing
do
about in the late
with their
1800s,
hands.
one that can feel so volatile and hopeless, like the end is near. Everybody's talking about, 250 years, that's when a republic falls. This is the end of democracy. It's the end of America. That actually, it's just something the previous generations have already experienced and they have already survived. And in my opinion, the question that Lockwood was asking throughout this entire novella was, when does a democracy, or can a democracy, ever become too divided and too distrustful to the point that it is not able to save itself? And it's kind of unfortunate, it's a black pill moment, because his book actually answers the question, and he answers it with a resounding yes, like a country can become too divided to save itself. He ends the book with a capital literally being...
I mean, fuck, it depends. Depends on the people, depends on what they're willing to, like, fight and die for. I mean, if we all become lazy and complacent, like the goddamn corn syrup lobby wants, then sure, we might just lay down and take it, but, like, there's plenty of us who aren't like that. I eat bean bowls, damn it. I eat bean bowls with brown rice and chicken, motherfucker. I walk places. Salad snaps. At least she wasn't clapping her syllables like a preschooler. Yeah, do people still do that? I think people, like, I've seen that in texts. Like, I've seen that in text exchanges, but I haven't... What's up, Salad Slaps, by the way? Didn't even say hi. Didn't even say hi. You know? Does that show appreciation? If you don't say hello to someone. You know what I fucking hate? You know what I fucking hate? You know what grinds my goddamn gears? This day and age, in the year of our Lord 2026, is when people don't say goodbye on the fucking phone. When people don't say goodbye on the fucking phone. We don't work together. We don't have a curt relationship. If you love me, say fucking goodbye, you piece of shit. Well, love me as a friend or whatever. You know? You just say goodbye. Just say, I mean, hello is, you can exchange pleasantries. You don't have to say hello. That's like an added accessory, right? It shows maybe extra respect or some deference or whatever, but say goodbye when you're on the fucking phone with people. I don't know, because I'm polite, I don't know that you've hung up. You know? Fucking kids. Fucking kids. We dropped down to 0 viewers. Oh, God.
Blown up. He's saying, like, it will end at this
I have to rant every now and again because I'm old. All right? I don't get to express my opinion very much.
point of time, which is not really the message that we want to hear.
Except for online. But in a healthy way. You know? People can come to me rather than me putting my thoughts out there, you know? Or I guess that's kind of what's happening, right? I'm putting up a live stream, then I'm putting my thoughts out there. But it's like I have my own little corner of the universe, you know? I got my channel. You can look at the video. You can go away from the video, you know? Are you expecting to come into a room and say hello to the host? What if other people expect that of me? You know, what if that's just part of how they grew up, how they were raised, you know, and they expect a little bit of respect when you enter a room, you know? If I did enter a room, I don't know why this is a topic of discussion. If I did enter a room and there was somebody that I hadn't seen before in that setting, like let's say that I'm just arriving, then I would probably make time to say hello to all the people in the room, especially the host. If they're hosting me, you know. I don't know if I communicated that, if I thought that before other comments, hi host, and thing you wanted to say. Oh, you mean like a virtual room, like a chat room? And say hi to the host, aka the streamer? No. But if you're saying something to me, I should acknowledge your presence. I should say, oh, hi. That's just my own, level of discourse, you know? I just want to be respectful of the people who are taking their time out of their day to come here and watch me. You know, I think that shows an appreciation for your audience, and even if it's a small audience, you know, I want to show people I respect them every damn chance I get. I want to give people the same opportunities that I was denied when I was growing up, in a father. So yeah, there you go. I guess I have a philosophy. Thank you. It's my first one. Wearing shoes in people's homes is disrespectful. Unless they wear shoes in their home. If they wear shoes in their home. Emphasize the wrong words there. But if they're wearing shoes, I can wear shoes. Come on.
Here, if we are relating this to the modern world.
I wear shoes in my home.
The good thing is, in
we don't have like
American
a mudroom
history,
or anything, so
the Capitol wasn't blown.
The floors are all hardwood.
We stared into the abyss. We stared into this destruction. We fought to come back, and we're still here in 2026. Now, is our country perfect? Absolutely not. But it is still standing. And there are still good people that are fighting for the values of our country and fighting for what they believe an America of tomorrow can look like. Who want to...
Well, holy shit, Brett. Like, wow. She's blowing my mind here. Like, she's... great, like, she's actually like a normal person now. At least she's acting like a normal person. What on earth?
To see America and all of its
What happened to you,
survive.
Brett?
And that is a very positive
What happened?
thing for me to think about. And so tying this all back
Who
to
broke you?
time travel and the prophets and Baron Trump, all of that, like if Lockwood was actually a prophet, if he was writing about Baron Trump and what happens when Trump is president, then maybe he would have written about what actually happened. He would have written about that. Or maybe he actually is a prophet and we just have another thing coming. He was like, all right, that didn't happen in the 1800s, but get ready for 2026. So either way, let's hold on to our hats because things are brewing. That's all I know.
I'll hold on to my hat. I will hold on to my hat. And I'll try to hold on to other people's hats. I don't know which ones I'll get my hands on, but you'll see. Maybe, you know, whoever I'm next to when the next big thing happens. If I'm standing next to somebody and they're wearing a hat, I'll hold their hats for them until the news is cleared. Until the news has been delivered. I'll hold their hat so it doesn't fly away. I assume that's what is happening. Because, you know, in those parody movies, it goes whoop. It even makes that noise. Whoop. Ay. So, I think we've talked enough about Baron Trump being a time traveler. I think everyone knows at this point that it's legitimate and that it's a real story and that Baron Trump himself is actually visiting us from the future to help us avoid nuclear war. So we've established that. We've proven it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And, you know, I think that it's time to take a look back at disclosure and kind of like do a little bit of you know, housekeeping when it comes to the stuff that's been released, like the evidence that we went over the other day when we were talking about the big disclosure. This is now a few days old. That's this disclosure itself. And, you know, there were files that came out that showed footage, and last time we looked at this, we talked about how one of them very well could have been a targeting laser, because, you know, we saw that it only distorted when it touched the wind farm things, and that it was following along with the actual gimbal camera. Whatever. Point is, it would have been very likely that it was just a targeting laser. The other one was like a guy in a like one of those wingsuit things, just kind of going, like, probably base jumping. And because if you have seen any of those videos, which people post all the time, they go and they go on for a way longer than you think they would. So it seems incredible, especially if seen on an infrared camera. But there was that one that was like the chaos symbol that you know, people were thinking was like an angel, and they thought that there was like some kind of you know, exhaust port with propulsion. But I am very confident that I know what it was, and I'm very confident that I can, through my cursory research, again, I don't do research like Brett Cooper does. I wasn't looking at Twitter. I was actually taking a look at photos of what I thought it was, inverting them and taking a look at what they would look like infrared and seeing if that matched up. And I think I got a pretty close match to how it looks, and so I'm hoping to show that today. And what I would like to do first, before we get into any of my proof, is I would like to take a look at a psychologist, a forensic psychologist, who I guess has analyzed the footage and is going to break it down for us. All right, it's 19 minutes. I have already seen this, so I don't mind leaving it on, but I'm going to go feed my dogs, and then I will be right back. That should only take me about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. Not even 5 minutes. Nah, not even 5 minutes. Give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Before we move on, I wanted to jump back to the press conference for just a couple more minutes.
Well, Gordy, that is a difficult question. It has been a fascinating experience from so many detail aspects.
All right, I'll be right back.
I guess generally speaking, the thing I carry back with me, I hope, is an increased perspective, not only for the history of the solar system, but I hope for the future of mankind within that solar system.
That was a very interesting response, and one that makes me wonder if they have a different perspective of the universe now, that they have now experienced things that make them see everything a little bit differently.
Periodic reports from each of you about gastric distress in one form or another. Does this trouble make you think that the 3 Skylab missions of 28, 56, and 56 days
It's fascinating to see how differently they present than the guys from Apollo 11. This is only 4 years difference. It looks like it would be decades apart because their behavior is so different, because their way of interacting is so different. But it seems like they are a lot more calm about whatever it is they've experienced, and maybe it's because they're still mid-flight. It's very possible that having a few weeks quarantined, waiting to respond to questions, maybe that makes you feel differently about the things you experienced. But at this point, we're seeing a very different type of behavior from the folks on Apollo 17. It's also very possible that they were debriefed on the strange things experienced on Apollo 11 and 12. But as you can see, their behavior is light years different. Looks like at times there was still some discomfort, but very, very different than Apollo 11. Now here's a little bit of audio that was released from the flight of Gemini 7. This was prior to the Apollo missions, so this was not a moon landing mission.
Gemini 7 here, Houston 98.
Loud and clear. 7, go ahead.
Bogey at 10 o'clock high.
So this would have been 1965, and he said that they have a bogey at 10 o'clock high. And this would have been when they have been very, very high in the air.
This is Houston. Say again, 7.
So we have a bogey at 10 o'clock high.
Roger. Gemini 7, is that the booster or is that an actual sighting?
So you heard him say, was that the booster? That seems to be where they always go. Is this the booster? Is this part of the rocket? Is this part of what launches them up in the air and all of that? So, of course, that's the first thing they try to eliminate.
Say again, 7.
So we have several, looks like the 3 up there, actual sighting.
So he said it looks like an actual sighting.
You have any more information, estimated distance or size?
But we also have the booster in sight.
And they also have the booster in sight. So he's seeing the bogey, which would obviously be some kind of unidentified object in the sky, but he can also see the booster, so he knows it's not the booster.
Understand you also have the booster in sight, Roger.
And we have very, very many, looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left out about 3 to 4 miles.
Hundreds of little particles flying out around 3 or 4 miles.
Understand you have many small particles going by on the left. At what distance?
4 miles. Looks like perhaps a vehicle that's disintegrated.
Roger, understand they're about 3 to 4 miles away.
They're past now. They're going to polar orbit.
Roger, and understand they were about 3 to 4 miles away.
Gemini Control here again. The reference in that conversation to the third unidentified object, of course, the third object was bogey. There were several references to the bogey.
Now, I want you to keep in mind one thing that's very interesting, if we're to pay attention to the sound of the way people were speaking, is no one sounded that anxious, no one sounded panicked, which does make me curious if this is something they had experienced before or something that was a little bit more predictable than we would think. Maybe this was the first time they'd ever seen any kind of bogey like that. But the way that they responded makes me think maybe that has been anticipated. Maybe that's something they've dealt with before. Now we're going to look at some of the videos that were released by the Department of War. These are all considered unresolved. So in other words, they don't know what this is. This one right here is from Iraq. And as you can see, there's that little white dot there. What's always impressive to me is when there's something from the military that is left unresolved, because you would think with something that's moving like this, even though I know it's very hard to see, that they would have some idea what it was to where it could at least be resolved. Here is more unresolved footage from Iraq. Watch closely. You're going to see a white object fly by. And while it's easy to think maybe it was a bug, maybe it's something that's more mundane, and maybe it is, you would think that that would be resolved by them. It wouldn't be something that would be left unnoticed, because I'm sure they deal with bugs and flying things all the time. So for this to be something that remains unresolved, I find fascinating. And here's one from the UAE. Now, the farther ahead we go and the more technology that we have available commercially and from the military, it does become a lot harder to suggest entirely that this couldn't be man-made. Here's more footage from the UAE. Once again, the motion of this and the way that it moves is fascinating. If you just look at the speed at which this is moving, it's just incredible. And if we skip ahead a little bit, you can see that the patterns that it's moving in doesn't seem like it's some sort of animal, or doesn't seem like a bird or something like that, because I'm sure at the wrong distance, with just the right way that the sun's hitting something, you could certainly mistake an animal or something like that for a man-made object, or a non-terrestrial object, I suppose. But this is absolutely fascinating to me. Now here's another object. This one was in Oman. You know, part of understanding the forensics of these things is understanding how people react when they see something that they don't understand. You have to think of it through the lens of military, is that when something is genuinely left unresolved for them, think about how much power, how much technology they have. If they truly cannot figure something out, how remarkably shocking that is. Here's another object in Greece. Now, with drone technology, we're going to see more things like this that could be fake, that could genuinely just be something man-made. And this may genuinely be something man-made. But being able to come up with something that could fly around like this, it'll be a lot less convincing that it's not something that could be available commercially, because drone technology now is ridiculous. It is incredible. And if you added some lights to it and you had it fly around in certain patterns, you can do pretty much anything you want. And this was October of 2023. So in some ways, just because of the date of it, because of how recent it is, it becomes slightly less impressive in that sense, because something like this could potentially be something commercially available. That being said, it continues to be unresolved, and you would think that if it was something commercial, that the military could probably identify it. Now here's another one from the Middle East. This one's from 2020. It does seem...
They didn't play through this whole thing, did he? There's no way. There's no way we played through this whole thing. Did we start it like halfway through? There's no way I was away for like 17 minutes. Anyway, what? No. No. I refuse to believe that.
Hey everybody, Dr. G here. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist, as well as a body language expert, and today we're going to be analyzing more of the new UFO files.
Let me know.
Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a psychological evaluation of any kind. These are just my opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. What we're going to be analyzing today is more strange documents and videos released in the UFO files by the Department of War. Now, last time we analyzed Apollo 11 and Apollo 12 documents. Today we're going to be looking at Apollo 17. And after that, we're going to be looking at some strange objects that were caught on video. All right, let's just jump right in. What I'm going to start with today is the astronauts talking from the shuttle. So this was actually during the Apollo 17 mission. Let's watch a minute of this so we can see their behavior and their body language, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how this compares to Apollos 11 and 12.
I believe that once you start looking for something, and when Ron heard about what we were doing, I'm sure he started looking himself at what we had seen, and that leads you to see things. Now, that's not seeing things that aren't there. It makes you look for things that are there, and that's extremely important, and that's where the kind of training all three of us have had.
All right, tell me, did we already see this?
Made it possible for us to
I don't feel like we
find a
did.
lot of things that might not otherwise been found.
Now, I know that this press conference is mid-flight, so I would expect that their behavior and body language might be a little bit different, but at this point, we're not seeing the same type of self-soothing that we saw on Apollos 11 and 12.
This one is addressed to all three crewmen. What will you remember most about this mission?
Boy, that's a loaded question, Gordy. There.
Now, that was interesting. He asked what they would remember most about this mission. If you watch the astronaut on the left, he starts scratching his head. Now, that is a way to pacify ourselves. That is a way that when we're feeling uncomfortable, we sometimes do that, particularly when we're feeling stressed.
Just so you guys know, body language analysis is not a real science. Like, there's been plenty of times where behavioral analysis would do like body language interpretation and have it admissible in court, but it's not a science. It's just like the bite indent, like that thing that the people tried to use as like forensic science in like the 90s. That's also not credible evidence for pretty much anything. It's not scientific. It's just a pseudoscience. It's just not real. So you can't You cannot tell what someone's thinking by the way that they're acting. I could be insecure right now and you'd never know it. Because if I have a neurological disorder, or if I'm neurodivergent, and my brain isn't wired the same way that yours is, I may not behave the same way that somebody else would when I'm anxious. And that's why, like, if you are like a behavioral scientist, like if you're trying to figure out why a person is behaving the way that they are, you would have to like get to know them. Like you'd have to get to know them really well. Like you'd have to know what their life is like, what their circumstances are, in order to know anything about them, in order to know like anything about how they behave. So very unreliable.
What will you remember most about this mission?
Boy, that's a loaded question, Gordy. There's so many things, but I think probably the thing that...
Now let's go through and read some of the transcripts of the odder things that occurred, and then we're going to come back to just another minute of this. Now we're going to be looking at some highlighted parts from this transcript. The highlighted parts were actually highlighted by the Pentagon, not me. Now I have highlighted some other documents, but I did not highlight this one. Now for context, what we're going to be reading is when they were a few hundred miles from Earth, so this was just a little bit after they had launched. So now it says, now we've got a few very bright particles or fragments of something that is drifting away as we maneuver. Roger, understand. There's a whole bunch of big ones on my window down there, just bright. It looks like the 4th of July out Ron's window. Yes, now you can see some of them in shape. They're very jagged, angular fragments that are tumbling. Roger, they look like fluid of some sort? Not to me, they look like pieces of something. Roger, they're very bright. So at this point, it sounds like they're looking out their windows, and there are very bright, angular fragments. One of them seems to think it looks like liquid. The other seems to suggest that they are tumbling through space, and there are...
Right, so inconsistent accounts of supposedly the same thing increases unreliability, not legitimacy.
Fragments. Then he goes on to state, Bob, for the most part, these fragments
Nor
are
does
not,
it identify
are tumbling
anything.
at a very slow rate.
They're not.
I tried a couple of pictures of them in different settings to make an idea of what at least the patterns look like. Now, I went looking to see if I could figure out what pictures these were. Here's a picture that was taken around the time that this conversation was happening. I can't say for sure that it's the same thing, but this is the best I could find. Now, if we go on, it says, well, you know, I don't know. There are a number of possibilities. If you had some kind of, I get the impression maybe they were curved a little bit, as if they might be off the side of the SIVB, which is the Saturn module, which is what helped them launch. That's actually the same thing that they thought back in Apollo 11 and Apollo.
But he says, and that's a wild guess. That's a wild guess. He kind of spells it out right there for you. He doesn't know what he's looking at. Let alone aliens. Let alone aliens. Fuck, man.
Apollo 12. Whenever they would try to figure out what they were seeing, they'd say, well, maybe it was part of the Saturn module. And he goes on to state, that's a wild guess. And further on, it states, ice chunks possibly.
No. No. He's saying this about his entire statement, that it's a wild guess. Not that it came off the Saturn module. He's not trying to debunk it. He's saying that none of this is... Don't substantiate any of this.
Or maybe there's paint coming off of it. Roger, I noticed on one trip of the elevator last week near one of the flags, I thought it was on the S2, but it might have been on the SIVB. Looked like they were peeling. Maybe that's what you've got. So at this point, basically, they're running through what they could possibly be seeing. Outside of their window, they're seeing
Space
tumbling
collision.
fragments. And they're trying to make sense. Is this part of the spaceship? Is it paint peeling? What is going on here? So then they go on to continue to talk about how the fragments appear to be tumbling.
Debris
and then he
of some
states,
sort.
every once in a while, a fragment of considerably higher velocity than the others goes across my window, but that's very rare. Roger, hey, that's the field of view I saw at my window, Jack. Do you see it now? Yes. And Bob, at least there's no apparent relative motion between fragments. Now we're going to skip a significant amount of time and read some more. Okay, Ed, to add to today, not last night, but I guess the first night I was in bed, I definitely saw some of these because I had a hard time going to bed. To start with, I saw some of the same peripheral horizon type things you said were not the type of data you were looking for, but I also saw some sets of the streaks. And probably the most imposing thing I remember, and the last thing I remember before falling asleep, was the fact that there was a very bright spot that flashed right between my eyes like a very bright headlight, like a train coming at you, only with a flash. It's difficult probably to estimate the frequency of any of these because I was in a sort of sleepy, hazy mode. So now we're not talking about tumbling.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like a reflection. Something reflecting the sun.
Jagged objects. He's talking about a light that looked at him like a train coming towards him. But then, as today, I saw some that flashed and lit up the horizon, some that lit up peripherally, and I guess, as you say, there's a different kind of data. But I did see them there, and today they impressed me. As I talked about with the other Apollo mission, these guys are scientists. They're naturally skeptical. If they experience something, they aren't going to go, well, this is something unusual. They're going to say, I'm going to figure out what this is. And that sounds exactly like what he's trying to do. He's trying to get through process of elimination, figure out what could this possibly be. He goes on to state, when you don't have anything else to do, why don't you have somebody predict where the SIVB is? I think that I've got her spotted behind us and above us with respect to the Earth and our travel from it. So they're really only able to think this must be part of the Saturn module. This must be part of what launched us up into space because nothing else would make any sense. Now he goes on to say, hey, Bob, I'm looking at what Jack was talking about. And it's definitely not a particle that's nearby because there is another one I can look at and get a three-dimensional comparison with. It's a bright object and it's obviously rotating because it's flashing. It's way out in the distance, and as I say, because there are particles that are close by, and it's obviously not one of those, it's apparently rotating in a rhythmic fashion because the flashes come around almost on time. And it's as if we look back to Earth, and it's up around 11 o'clock, maybe 10 or 12 Earth diameters.
So like something is spinning and drifting away. Not drifting away, but just something is spinning in space. Doesn't mean an alien ship.
I don't know whether it does you any good, but there is something out there. And then he goes on to say, and I just want to emphasize that it's definitely not one of these particles that tends to look like a star out there. It's something physical in the distance. And they continue to describe the motion they're seeing. Let's call it the XZ plane of the spacecraft. One unique thing about it, Bob, is that it's got two flashes. As it comes around in rhythmic fashion, you get a very bright flash, and then you get a dull flash. And then it'll come around with a bright flash, and then a dull flash. So they go on to try to explain that they think it's the side of...
Right, so like a three-sided object, something that goes reflective side, matte side, then nothing. Then reflective side, matte side, then nothing.
The Saturn module, and then the engine bell. So basically, they're suggesting that the Saturn module is rotating, and that you're seeing one side of it, then you're seeing the engine bell. What's more interesting is they go on to say the commander doesn't think I can see the engine bell on that thing. Roger, Jack. Is that with a monocular you're looking at it? So a monocular is basically this thing that magnifies by a huge amount. So if you're looking at something through the monocular, it's almost like a telescope or something like that. It's going to tremendously magnify what you're looking at. However, he goes on to say he couldn't.
Well, there are monoculars that are like very short distances. There's like an 8x
engine bell if he had 10
bird watching ship
binoculars. So what they're saying is that can't be the Saturn module. So what they're seeing rotating is truly an unidentified object at this point. And when they're out in space,
it doesn't mean aliens.
73. There shouldn't be that many things out there. This should not be that difficult to figure out what this is. And since there was all the talk about the Saturn module, I went to see if I could find any pictures of it myself, and I actually did find a picture from the Apollo 17 mission. This was a picture they took of the Saturn module. It's quite different than what was described with the flashes of light, with all of the angular sort of particles that were moving around.
Yeah, but that's a picture. It's a single moment in time. And also, like, there's a surprisingly stunning amount of shit in space around us. Like, it's not, it's not going to form a belt or anything, but, like, there's a lot of trash in space. Like, from the very beginning of when we started doing space shit. So anything, it could be anything that's unidentified. It could be Laika, the dog, frozen and floating or no, she'd probably died from heat. Oh no, on re-entry, I think. Never mind.
So when they said maybe it was the Saturn module,
morbid,
it seems highly unlikely because this is a picture they took of it, and it sounds very different than what they were describing. Now they go on to continue to try to problem solve for what it is. There's never a good solution provided, but I want to jump down to another part because I think this one is absolutely fascinating.
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
I just saw flash on the
this,
surface. Oh yes, it was just out there north of Grimaldi, just north of Grimaldi.
Analysis.
You might see it if you got anything on your seismometers, though a small impact probably would give a fair amount of visible light. Okay, we'll check. It was a bright little flash right out there near the crater. See the crater right at the edge of Grimaldi? Then there's this other one north of it, fairly sharp north of this is where it was, just a thin streak of light. How about putting an X on the map where you saw it? So it seems like he saw a strange flash of light from a crater on the moon, which to me is absolutely fascinating. Now here's a picture that looks very familiar to the Apollo 12 pictures. There were a lot of pictures from Apollo 12 that showed a lot.
This one I don't understand. There's just so much shit in space. Like, I know that it looks pitch black to people like, who are looking at this through a camera lens, but if you were there, you probably would see stars. Like, I don't know that it could be that the surface of the moon is so reflective that maybe you wouldn't see stars, but like, they're out there. It's not like there's a portion of sky that's just entirely black, and then, one that we see particles in, that's gotta be a UFO. That doesn't mean shit. There's 3 dots of light in the sky. Is it that strange to believe that they might have just, like, they might be in the same place? Like, that maybe it's like a far off, like, solar system or something? Like, I don't know if you could see that from just the naked eye, like where you are on the moon, but like, it's not weird that a camera would catch something. It could even be just a reflection. It could be like a reflection from the inside of the lens because it is so bright. If it's bright enough to wash out all the stars because of whatever the reflective material is on the moon that like makes the flashlight go crazy, then it could just be that it's so light, so luminous that it's illuminating the inside of the camera lens, which sometimes happens on like sunny days and shit, which is why you get kind of like a lens flare effect on the inside of the camera. Same shit. Same fucking shit.
A lot of very odd artifacts in the sky. And if you look at pictures from these missions, it is pitch black. The way that it looks through the rest of this picture is how all of the pictures look. It's just pure black. So to see something like this stand out is really phenomenal. Now, this was taken during the Apollo 17 mission. So once again, over the course of multiple missions, over multiple years, we are now getting strange phenomena from the moon taken by NASA. It just fascinates me that we have these pictures. Now, before we move on, I wanted to jump back to the press conference for just a couple more minutes.
I'm sure it does fascinate you.
Well, Gordy, that is a difficult question. It has been a fascinating experience.
Yeah, I think this is where we started when I left to go feed my dogs. I think this is where we started. So now that we've caught back up,
so many detail aspects, I guess generally
now experience things that make them see everything a little bit differently, or it is they've experienced, and maybe it's so this would have been nice. Launches them up in the air.
Okay, yeah, this point.
Object in the sky, but he can also see the booster, so he knows it's not the booster.
Now I'm caught
Understand
up.
you also have the booster in sight, Roger.
And we have very many, looks like hundreds of little particles going by from west out about 3 to 4 miles.
Hundreds of little particles flying out around 3 or 4 miles.
Understand you have many small particles going by on the left. At what distance?
Alright, looks like a vehicle in the vicinity.
Roger, understand they're about 3 to 4 miles away.
They're past now, they're going to pull over.
Roger, and understand they were about 3 to 4 miles away.
Chili Control here again. The reference in that conversation to the third unidentified object, of course, the third object, was bogey. There were several references to the bogey.
Now, I want you to keep in mind, one thing that's very interesting, if we're to pay attention to the sound of the way people were speaking, is no one sounded that anxious, no one sounded panicked, which does make me curious if this is something they had experienced before, or something that was a little bit more predictable than we would think. Maybe this was the first time they'd ever seen any kind of bogey like that. But the way that they responded makes me think.
I'm not 100% certain, but I would assume that bogey just means anything that's big enough to be tracked on your instruments. Like I don't think that it, like, because if it's just particles, like some paint that came off from like a collision of some like microasteroid or something, like you wouldn't be able to track that. But if you can track it, then you might say it's a bogey to help people who know what that term means recognize, oh, well, maybe we can track this thing. I don't know. I'm not 100% on that, but that's what I would assume.
Maybe that has been anticipated.
Because I don't think the word bogey just means
now we're going to look at some of
adversary.
these videos that were released by the Department of War. These are all considered unresolved. So in other words, they don't know what this is. This one right here is from Iraq. And as you can see, there's that little white dot there. What's always impressive to me is when there's something from the military that is left unresolved, because you would think
that's a balloon.
With something that's moving like this,
straight up a balloon,
even though I know it's very hard to see, that they would have some idea what it was, to where it could at least be resolved. Here's more unresolved footage from Iraq. Watch closely. You're going to see a white object fly by.
Balloon.
And while it's easy to think maybe it was a bug, maybe it's something that's more mundane, and maybe
balloon. I mean, it could either be a balloon or it could be a one of those sky lanterns that people do. Like, I think Eid is where one of the traditional sky lantern festivals is, and then Ramadan? No. Astronomical hypothetical scenario. A Capricorn farts into the mouth of a Gemini as a Libra pegs a Taurus. Oh, so you've already lost me. The chain of command here is throwing me off. Will the Libra smell the fart when they eventually mouth kiss the Gemini? I don't know. That's an interesting hypothetical. I'm sure you have the answer, so feel free, but I don't know.
It is, you would think that would be resolved by them. It wouldn't be something that would be left unnoticed, because I'm sure they deal with bugs and flying things all the time. So for this to be something that remains unresolved, I find...
Just because they do doesn't mean that these things are as of yet identified. That's why it's called unidentified. You may know that it falls into a certain category of phenomena. You may know like a bunch of things about it, but still are not able to identify it. Even if you know, oh, it's a balloon, or it's a lantern, or it's something that's floating like a balloon or a lantern would, you don't know that it is exactly that thing, so it's still unidentified. They do indeed smell the fart. Oh, well, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. I'm glad that we were able to learn something new today.
Find fascinating. And here's one from the UAE.
UAP. Coincidence?
Now, the farther ahead we go and the more technology that we have available commercially and from the military, it does become a lot harder to suggest entirely that this couldn't be man-made. Here's more footage from the UAE. Once again, the motion of this and the way that it moves is fascinating.
I like that you say fascinating so that you don't ever have to be accused of being a fucking wackadoo, but it's clear you believe these things. If you believe that body language analysis is a real thing and that you happen to be a doctor in it, then I'm sure you would believe wholeheartedly that these are all aliens. Unsurprising.
If you just look at the speed at which this is moving, it's just incredible.
How do you know how fast it's moving relative to the viewer? You clearly don't know when something's a fucking balloon, so how do you know how fast something's going?
And if we skip ahead a little bit, you can see that the patterns that it's moving in doesn't seem like it's some sort of animal, or doesn't seem...
How do you even know what you're looking at, you motherfucker? Like, how do you even know that what you're looking at is, like, us looking, like, through a plane's eye view of something, or, like, a fucking like an AC-10 or whatever the fuck, or like a thing on the ground, or how the fuck do you know what you're fucking looking at, let alone how fast it's going, let alone what it could or couldn't be? Body language analysis, fuck you.
Like a bird or something like that, because I'm sure at the wrong distance with just the right way that it's
You know, and I assume that your credentials as a forensic psychologist really fucking tell you how to interpret these things. Oh, it's really fucking fascinating how these things are moving so fast. Fucking motherfucker, you are a body language analyst. Are there bodies to fucking analyze right now?
I think you could certainly mistake an animal or something like that for a man-made object or a non-terrestrial object, I suppose. But this is absolutely fascinating to me. Now, here's another object. This one was in Oman.
Yeah, do you see the fucking string? I see a string. Do you see a string?
You know, part of understanding the forensics of...
Do you know what a fucking sky lantern is? I could make one right the fuck now. You tie a string to a candle, and you put a goddamn hole in 4 corners of a paper sheet. You cut a little hole in the top of the paper sheet, and then you tie them all to the candle, and you've got a fucking sky lantern that looks like a candle suspended by a goddamn parachute. Or you got a simple fucking cellophane balloon. Those things are notoriously difficult to pop. I mean, just by, like, you know, squeezing or whatever. Like, if you tried to squeeze it, it might slip out of your hand and float up into the fucking air with a stick attached to it.
Of these things is understanding how people react when they see something that they don't understand. You have to think of it through the lens of military. Is that when something is genuinely left unresolved for them...
What the fuck? So body language analysts, I guess, are like chiropractors. Like, they sound like they know what they're talking about a lot, and then they talk about things that aren't even in their speciality. Like they're some fucking authority. Is this body language?
Think about how much power, how much technology they have. If they truly cannot figure something out, how remarkably shocking that is.
Yeah.
There's another object in Greece. Now,
Aliens.
with drone technology, we're going to see more things like this that could be fake, that could genuinely just be something man-made. And this may genuinely be something man-made. But being able to come up with something that could fly around like this will be a lot less convincing that it's not something that could be available commercially, because drone technology now is ridiculous.
Right. See, you're assuming that it's flying around. You're not assuming that it is the most likely candidate, which is either, you know, like there are the things that are speeding by on some of the videos, very clearly rockets or missiles or something like that. And people are just saying, oh, well, we didn't hear any kind of propulsion system. So? Come on. But also, designating lasers, infrared lights. I mean, shit bounces off lenses like making things look like they're projected onto the ground when they could just be reflections. Like, holy fuck, dude. Like, and even then, there's still maybe some as of yet undiscovered species of animal that can do something like this. Who the fuck knows? The whole point is that it's not aliens. But if he's just here assuming that there's something flying around out there, then A, he's wrong or scamming people, and B, like you're just discounting everything that it could be, and what that does is that it harms the narrative. Because UFO influencers aren't going to be right whenever the proof does come out. And then B, there could be something even more interesting to the story that you're now discounting for the sake of fucking aliens.
It is incredible. And if you added some lights to it, and you had it fly around in certain patterns, you could do pretty much anything you want. And this was October of 2023.
Disappointing.
So in some ways, just because of the date of it, because of how recent it is, it becomes slightly less impressive in that sense, because something like this could potentially be something commercially available. That being said, it continues to be unresolved, and you would think that if it was something commercial, that the military could probably identify it. Now, here's another one from the Middle East. This one's from
right, and when you've eliminated those 3 options, it's aliens.
It does seem like there are a lot of these that occur in the Middle East.
Yeah, you know, where all the actual armed conflict is happening, it's almost like there are, like, flares, laser designators at work, all kinds of, like, just, like, fucking infrared, like, bullshit military optic goddamn technological hardware that we just don't, as a general public, know much about. All that shit exists out there, like, that they're using in the conflict, and I'm sure, like, any fucking grunt on the ground, who's probably unconcerned with all this shit, would be able to tell us, oh yeah, that's a flare. Oh yeah, and you know, I haven't talked to any, but I'm sure they probably dispel that shit in their own, like, communities. Like, no, what you guys are seeing is like a flare. We use those sometimes. But we're about to get to the most egregious one. We're about to. I'll let you know.
Now, this is one from 2013.
Oh, never mind. We're here. Okay, we finally got here. We're at the most egregious one. And it's funny because it's the one that's like right at the end of the video where like probably people aren't going to have watched to this long, knowing that a body language expert probably isn't very good at interpreting what UFOs are.
Also from the Middle East. This one is incredibly peculiar.
Just my opinion.
Like, I've never seen anything that looks quite like this before. But some of it, I can't tell if it actually has corners to it or if that's a lens flare. It's really hard to distinguish between something that's bouncing.
Right. I'm just going to protect myself real quick. Hang on.
Off of the camera and light, or if it's actually fully shaped like this with all points. And there's also that trail behind it. As you can see, there's that white trail behind it, which makes you think that maybe it has some kind of engine on it, which would suggest maybe this is something, in fact, man-made. You would think if it was something
weird.
interstellar,
It's got an engine.
maybe it wouldn't need to have all of these trails.
Yeah, if it was interstellar, because I know.
But it is
Because
incredibly...
I, as a body language forensic psychologist, fucking know that an interstellar ship certainly wouldn't need a propulsion system to get here.
Impressive thing to see. It's extremely unusual. And I'm curious if this is something that's going to be able to be debunked. Because if this isn't something that's debunked, it's certainly probably the most peculiar of all of the videos released by the military or by the Department of War. All right, let's go and start to wrap things up here. Hopefully this is...
And I know that I'm not going to let him wrap things up. Go fuck yourself. And I know that he edited it. I know that he edited the footage, or he was looking at an edited version. I'm pretty sure he edited the version, but we'll see. Let's see. Let's take a look. Now, that was only like 5 seconds that he showed, and it was just kind of like over and over again. So let's see what the actual footage is. It's about a minute and 46. Tell me if you notice anything that stands out to you as being pretty telling and very easily a possible explanation. And then I'll tell you, once we're able to point out the thing that might be obvious, I'm going to let you decide. Tell me if you can spot it. But if you can, then we'll start filling in the blanks, okay? But just tell me if you can see it. And I'm not going to tell you when to expect it. We're just going to watch the whole thing exactly how it is. Just tell me if you notice anything. Anything you notice that seems wonky, just let me know. We'll go back over it, but tell me if there's anything that you see that might debunk this. Stop! Helmet! That's not good sportsmanship. Well, it looks like you're doing that in the horizontal chat. I think, yeah. That's where the least people are. Alright, there you go. There it is. Congratulations, guys. We got through it. Now just let me know if you saw anything funny or anything hinky there. Because, I mean, let's just kind of like... Hang on. Let's go back to the footage he showed. Oh yeah, no problem, Helmet.
Hey everybody, Dark here.
Let's go back to the footage he showed.
Stellar, maybe it wouldn't need to have all of these trails. Peculiar that the military could probably identify it. Seem like there are a lot from the Middle East. This one is incredibly peculiar. Like I've never seen anything that looks quite like this before.
He's not showing...
But some of it, I can't tell if it actually has corners to it or if that's a lens flare. It's really hard to distinguish between something that's bouncing off of the camera and light, or if it's actually fully shaped like this with all the points.
Have to find it again. He doesn't show the whole
thing. And there's also that trail
edits it out. He's chopping it
that
up.
White trail behind it, which makes you think that maybe it has some kind of engine on it, which would suggest it wouldn't need. But it is an incredibly impressive thing to see. It's extremely unusual, and I'm curious if this is something that's going to be able to be debunked. Because if this isn't something that's
he cut it
debunked,
out.
it's certainly probably
He's
the
cutting
most
out-
peculiar of all of the videos.
He's cutting out the parts that might actually show what it is.
Was released by the military or by the Department of War. All right, let's go and start to wrap things
Welcome back, Patrick.
up here. Hopefully this is helping you better understand.
He cut it out. He cut everything out. Now I just have to find it again. God damn it. Sorry. There it is. But as you can see, he cut it out. He cut out the parts that might actually debunk it. So what I notice, and just let me know if you notice this too, is that about halfway through the video, as this thing starts wiggling, we see what to me looks like a parachute coming from... Come on. Bring it in. Bring it on in now. Coming right in there. Bada bing, bada boom. I've seen a UFO before with my stand landlord. It was daytime. Do you have any video of it? And that was the part that he edited out. Why do you think he would have edited that out? Is it possible that that provides a very clear picture as to what this might be? I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? What does that look like? It's curved. It's some distance away from the thing we're viewing. Oh, I think it might be a parachute. And what a weird trail it leaves behind it. It looks almost like a flare, right? Almost like a flare, the white smoke. Perhaps, maybe, if we knew the context, if we knew what direction we were looking, then we might be able to tell how to orient ourselves in terms of how we're looking at this. Oh wait, it says right fucking here. The United States Central Command submitted a report of an unidentified anomalous phenomenon to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, consisting of 1 minute and 46 seconds of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2013. So, from the ground, looking up. What do you suppose that might have been? Bizarro! That's right, Donnell Hall. Much bizarro. The sensor field of view narrows to zoom in on the area of contrast. The area of contrast moves within the sensor field of view, followed by a visible trail. The area of contrast leaves the sensor field of view at the bottom right of the screen, following an apparent cut. The area of contrast generally remains within the sensor field of view before exiting the frame from the top left corner of the screen. They do not mention the parachute. Why do you suppose they don't mention the parachute? Weird. It's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like maybe they're like trying not to state the obvious, which is that it's just a fucking flare on a parachute.
मैं हूं पंकज और मैं हूं छाछ बेटर का बड़ा जहाज और इमरजेंसी रॉकेट पैराशूट को पता चल जाए लाइट से लाइट आती है ताकि आसपास जितने और हमने इसके लिए परमिशन ली थी तो आप लोग ऐसा मत करिएगा तो हम लोग
Wow. You know, it's so strange. It feels like if I was looking up at that, maybe, I don't know, maybe like, I might think to myself, wow, that looks weird. Like the way that it's falling, it's like a strange pattern, you know? And maybe if I was looking through like an infrared camera, it might look something like that, you know? I don't know. But what we can do is we can take a screenshot of this, right? And then let's say we'll save this, and then let me grab it, and then we'll bring up a, I don't know, maybe a graphical interface manipulation tool. I made coconut pudding the other day. There wasn't any proof of it, just some shredded coconut flakes. Coconut pudding? I don't know that I've ever had coconut pudding before. And then, where are my screenshots saved? Oh, downloads, there we go. We're working on it, hang on. There's a lot of stuff happening on my computer right now. And then we'll take it into the graphics manipulation program and shut off the other layers. And just for shits and giggles, let's invert it. Let's just invert it. Just for the hell of it. Just for a little shitties and gigglies. Now that looks like a pretty bright light now, doesn't it? Gosh, it almost looks like a flare in the daytime, right? If only I had some other shots that might help corroborate that. Let's take a look at this so-called flare, aka alien UFO. And let's invert it. Let's invert just for shits and gigs. Just for shits and gigs. Let's invert it here. Hang on. Huh. Now, infrared doesn't necessarily invert pictures. It will... I think what it does is it utilizes, like, light, infrared light to highlight darker areas of things. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know how infrared works. But it doesn't look like an inverted version of whatever the picture is. So take that with a grain of salt. If only I had more to corroborate that. Hang on. Let's invert this real quick. Not quite a chaos symbol, but pretty darn close. What about another one? Maybe another example. Oh gosh, maybe this one. Okay, let's just invert it just for the hell of it. It's almost like the lens flares that we see, the coronal lens flares from something that burns extremely bright, like maybe a phosphorus flare, would take almost a star-shaped pattern if viewed from a camera. Almost like how lens flares work. Isn't that strange? Isn't that so weird? Sorry, this is obnoxious. I know this is really obnoxious. I'm sorry. I promise I will not talk like this anymore. I realize that it's obnoxious. I'm pissing myself off. I want to bully myself for that.
Oh, I can see the parachute.
Yeah, it didn't open up.
But notice the pattern that it's falling, and remember...
Wow.
Look at this. Look at how it's like. You wouldn't say like spiraling down, but look at the descent pattern. No, that wasn't.
Wow.
Imagine if you were viewing that from, let's say, below it, and you saw it like descending on you in a certain way. It would look weird. And if you were to like take that and make it horizontal and act as if you're on an airplane looking at it, it would look downright freaky. But that ain't it, bruh. That ain't it. Oh look, more parachute flares. They certainly exist.
Hold it out here. And you pull this down smartly.
Do it. Do it.
Good and strong.
Pull it down. Get it. Get it.
Yep. Just yank it.
Do it.
That one I can...
Weird. Weird. That smoke pattern looks eerily similar to something that I think we've seen before. Nope. There we go.
Wow.
So let's take a look at that. Okay, so that's the smoke pattern. Okay, we're looking up at it, and it's coming down, and we're taking a look here. Huh. Now that's a smoke pattern and a half, is it not? It's almost like that's how a flare falls, is it not? Oh, that's so strange. That's so crazy. I promised I wouldn't do that anymore, and here I am doing it again.
Yeah, what a difference in the explosion there.
Well, you know what to put on the boat now.
Alright, man, we got some misidentified parachute flares for UFOs. I wonder if this has anything to do with our current narrative. But let's take a look. Okay. 4 unknown objects. This is either a FLIR or infrared, right? What are we looking at? And descending stay at a steady speed identical to each other. These are UFOs, guys. These are aliens. I don't know if you guys knew that. Okay? That's cool. Let's see later. Weird, yeah. It's like they're like oozing some kind of corruption, you know? Like the aliens are trying to turn Earth into hell, like the demons that they are, you know? Isn't that strange? Crazy. Oh no, someone just took him out! Wait, that's another UAP that we saw in a different video. It's moving way too fast. I know that because I'm a body language expert. Jason Gleaves. Oh shit, he enhanced. It's been enhanced. Yeah, those look similar. I'll just have to take his word for it, I guess. Double impact. I mean, that's how that works, from what I understand. But we're not at the parachute flares yet. This is just random flares. I think this is just like flare chaff or whatever. Oh, but here we go. Here's what a parachute flare. Now, isn't that? Oh no! Hang on. Now, isn't that strange? How it's got a coronal lens flare that has kind of like a star-shaped pattern. Isn't that strange? I wonder what would happen if we inverted that footage. I'm not going to. I think we've already conclusively proven. Steven Van Vuren, clearly balloons. They're all balloons. All aliens are balloons. I don't know if you knew that. No visible material being produced from the flare because it is a parachute flare. There you go. UFOs over Afghanistan. We did it. Here's other text. Watch the swinging motion similar to a heavyweight suspended below a parachute on descent. Oh yeah, weird. Leaving almost something that would look like that if viewed from bottom up. Very strange. Very strange. Plus the fucking parachute. What a strange smoke pattern. Imagine if you were looking straight up. It might almost look like this. How strange.
Hey guys, today we're going to be testing out the Nice. You can kind of see the parachute
And,
too.
as you can see, how it's turning on its axis is exactly how it looks turning on its axis here. See it there? There's its axis. And it's turning around it. There you go. So, obviously, the footage is oriented this way, right? So it should look like that. And you're just looking up at a flare. And at the end of the video, when it goes like that, it's just descending. It's just hitting the ground. It's just descending onto the ground. That's all it is. I don't know. That was clear to me, like, the first time I saw it. Like, why are people freaking out about it? Like, they're still like, this hasn't been explained! UFO talk today, yeah? Oh, yeah. I'm wearing my NASA hat, as you can see. It's very important that we cover the right subjects, okay? Disclosure's coming, you know?
All right, so that was the 58 grain. Go ahead and try the... Oh, yeah. That's lighting up the entire hillside right there.
Yeah, so the amount of luminosity that's given off by one of these white phosphorus flares, or the illuminating flares, I don't know if it's white phosphorus, that would be dangerous, wouldn't it? The amount of illumination that's being given off from one of these would absolutely light up your infrared like that. Absolutely. With a coronal ring and everything. Like, I mean, if you can't see, you got to get your eyes checked if you can't see the fact that there's a ring there, and then like look at all of the lines. Like in an infrared, like, because there are parts of that entire makeup of lights that's there. Like, imagine it in like different sections, right? There's different intensities to different sections. Like if we're talking about distance, like some of the flare is, I know it's like only inches, but some of the flare is further back than the other parts of the flare, which might make the luminosity less, even if it's just a tiny little bit of a percentage, it would still make it less. And so if it's showing up on a camera that's really sensitive to light, then it might actually show depth. It might show like different patterns or something, especially when light forming a lens flare tends to take a star-like pattern. It might happen like that. It might just line up correctly that, you know, whoever packed that flare did it really well and very uniform. And just, there it is. And it's just the luminosity that we're picking up that looks like a chaos symbol. What's up, Flash? How's it going?
That's fucking sick. That's pretty
Not to mention
bright.
the flight pattern is just like the descent pattern is just so indicative of a flare. It's insane that people don't see that. Like, they think that they're looking at something like head on, and that's
see that parachute coming down. The only thing I'm concerned about is landing the embers right there. Do you have a fire extinguisher? Okay. Honestly, okay. I'm gonna say, it has a little bit of kick to it.
Why are you wearing nogs while you're using flares? Isn't that counterintuitive?
If you guys have this IWA launcher, and you guys are used to shooting the 37mm flash concussion rounds or the smoke rounds, those have a little bit of kick to it, but definitely not as much as this. This is definitely big.
Show me more flares.
Let me just show you a size comparison. Thoughts? How this goes. All right, so that was the 60 grain. All right, here we go.
Oh. We got a lens flare right there. Nice coronal lens flare. Gosh, yeah, it's almost like cameras see all kinds of weird shit when it comes to, like, really bright lights. Weird.
Oh, yeah. Now, if you can sort of pan, like,
God
from
damn,
there
that thing's
to
bright.
there slightly.
Holy fuck.
Definitely lights up the whole area, as you guys can see. Super well lit. Very.
That is crazy bright.
Very effective.
God damn.
And it just
I feel like
rained
I'm being
recently, like
flashbanged.
yesterday, so really low fire danger here. Well, there you have it, guys. The 37.
And if only I had even more proof.
Now try to get that thumbnail where I'm like in it. Yeah.
Oh, it's the same. That's the same video. But lad, look at the flight. Look at the flight
turn
pattern. Congratulations on 427, by the way. Thank you. I did smoke about it. We just have to hit 500. That's God damn, bitch! That was very loud. Just gotta hit 500. That's my threshold. And then 3,000 watch hours. I'm only at 1,000, but you gotta hit that in a full year. I'm gonna have to do some serious video uploading. Or I'm gonna have to get 2,000 people to watch me for an hour. Which is more likely? I don't know. If we can get 2,000 people at once to just watch me for an hour, then boom, instant monetization. But once I can get channel memberships, then I can actually spend more time doing this. But I still have to have like a full-time job, you know? So, I mean, I would love to just make content for it. That'd be awesome. You can do it. You can do it! Rob Schneider, what a dick. But that's what I instantly think about. Thank you for the well wishes, too. I appreciate it. It feels like the... I don't think it's the...
Not a damn thing, man.
What are you guys doing out here? That's the South for you. People want to know what's up. I feel like to the naked eye, these ones are a little easier to see, like the star pattern in, but I don't... This thing looks to me to be like just the brightest thing you can think of, which is why it has those... Why it looks like it has those gaps in the luminosity. I don't think that's like actual gaps in luminosity. I just think the camera can't register it because like the actual corona itself is so fucking bright that it's causing this like negative effect. Not this. You wouldn't look. This is not how things look through the naked eye. Like this is probably a blue sky if it's during the day, or it's like pitch black at night. But like then this thing in the center is just like really, really bright. Tain't nothing.
Oh shit. Uh-oh. Hope it goes out. Oh fuck.
I mean, you can even see like a bit of a star as it descends, you know? See, like right there, the cross, diagonal, and then obviously the horizontal line. But it's all in camera. That's all just an in-camera thing, you know? What about the video where the missile bounced off it? I'm sure you already talked about that. The one I think you're talking about is the one that we just watched. That was actually also a flare as well, but that was like a chaff type thing. Or no, they're like kind of floating. Whatever. They said that they were, the person who made the video said that they were parachute flares too, but it didn't seem to fall quick enough. Maybe the thermal, like there was thermal layer there. It was like updrafts or something like that, but it didn't seem to fall very fast. And I know that as it burns, like that chaff stuff tends to stay in the sky for a bit.
I'm still fucking Christian.
Okay. Huh, weird. Now there's an even more clear example of how we can get lines in the camera, from a flare. Very strange. Very, very strange. And the way it falls, look at that smoke pattern. Need I remind you what that smoke pattern looks like? Whoopsies. Oopsie whoopsie. People are doing a fucky wucky. So, not aliens. Congratulations. Okay, we've gotten to the zenith. We've gotten to the zenith, I think, is just the best way to describe this. We've gotten to the zenith. We've gotten to the apex of the stream. This is the point where the stream goes from being, you know, me disproving a single piece of footage to the realm of guffaws, if you will, the realm of laughter and learning how to not be so scared. But we're still going to speed it up because I would like to get through it at a reasonable pace. But this is Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he is talking to a comedian at the Comedy Cellar at something called Smart Girl Dumb Questions. I don't know if it's a podcast, but it's like a podcast. It's like an in-person podcast, which is like a just symposium.
Smarter coming out of here to see what everyone else has seen and think what no one else has thought.
Modern day
Smart girl.
symposium.
Dumb questions.
Welcome to Smart Girl Dumb Questions live at the Comedy Cellar in New York. I'm your host, Naima Raza, and I'm going to be joined by world-renowned astrophysicist,
Never been there? I don't know if it's a place where reputable comics go, but woo!
director of the Hayden Planetarium, and our alien daddy, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Get up here, Neil.
I like it sped up. I think it's better sped up.
Neil, you know it's 4:20 today.
Is that right?
Are you familiar with the...
See? 420. You get it? It's 420. It's 420 subs. It's 420. You get it? You guys get it? It's thematic. It's thematic. I'm doing a thing. I don't know what to do with my hands like Brett Cooper. Anyway, let's keep watching.
Yes, I am. I think it has something to do with marijuana.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I do not partake. Do you partake?
I've actually never done drugs in my life.
Oh.
I know
That's why you're
crazy,
so
right?
smart.
No.
No. Well, he's a nerd. Maybe he just never had time. He was always in the lab or something. What? Yeah, there's no way. There's no way you didn't smoke a little bit of the... I don't...
Crazy fact. I mean, in college, there were like mounds of marijuana in front of me and the smoking. I surely got multiple contact highs.
Okay.
But
Although the fact that he calls it marijuana definitely doesn't lend credibility to any claims that he would have done drugs in the past.
I was just watching them almost anthropologically. Because the human brain barely works as it is. If you're going to stir in chemicals, it'll take you someplace else. But in my experience, not closer to the universe. So yeah, I just never have.
I also have. I've done shrooms once or twice.
That's all. Just some shrooms. Oh, by the way, what, mushrooms you said.
Mushrooms,
Can I
yeah.
tell you something about mushrooms?
Of course. Get ready. Neil likes a creative Eddie. I know this. He likes a detour.
A creative Eddie. I
Yes.
like that. That's very
You ready?
poetic.
What is the story?
So,
What's your mushroom story?
we and mushrooms, if you look at the tree of life,
Yes.
we and mushrooms are more genetically alike than either we or mushrooms are to green plants.
What? Mushrooms are more like green plants?
Were you paying attention to me? So let me say it another way.
Yes.
The common ancestor between humans and mushrooms split later than its common ancestor split with green plants.
That makes sense.
So that we and mushrooms are more genetically alike than either of us are to green plants. And so, if you've bitten into a mushroom before, what sometimes people call it, what they say, what about a mushroom? Meat, tastes meaty. Fleshy. Said no one ever of kale.
Fleshy.
Right? No one ate kale. Oh, this is meaty kale.
That
Right?
is-
So
that's why.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
And mushrooms, which are fungus, just love hanging.
MJ isn't a drug. It is still classified as a drug. I don't think that it's, fair to be regulated that way or scheduled the way that it is, but it is still a drug. Anything that alters your perception, right? Let's look up, what is the classical definition of a drug? A medicine or other substance, see medicine, or other substance which has a psychological or physiological effect when ingested or otherwise introduced to the body. See? Drugs are not necessarily, drug is not a bad term necessarily.
And out with us. That's why you get, by the way, yeast is fungus, so you
Yes.
get yeast infections.
Okay.
The mushroom just wants to get all up in you.
All right. Calm down, Neil. Let's take a step back and not talk about, yeast infections, please. This is a podcast, I think.
Going downhill. I'm going to take it back on track from yeast infection. So this is our second encounter
It
on
is.
the podcast.
Encounter, it's like we're not aliens. They use the word
So it
encounter
is,
when
okay,
you-
it is a podcast. Which means, okay, hang on, sorry. If this is a podcast, then I need to treat this like a podcast. Hang on. My mic's gonna go away for a second. Can you hear me? Okay. Tap, tap, whoop, whoop, tap, tap. All right, here we go. Hang on. Oh, hang on. This is all part of the script. This is all part of the show. This is all part of the experience that you get when you tune in to a Goose stream. This is the production quality that your money would go to if I was able to monetize the channel. Your money would go to this type of edgy, this type of edgy, podcast adjacent casualness, casual quality that people have come to expect from their casual style podcast talent, you know. And so we're gonna treat it like a podcast. Hang on, we're gonna treat this like a podcast.
We're meeting an alien.
Yes.
It's the
All right,
second
I'm gonna
time
let it
I've been
play.
on your podcast.
The second time I've been on
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh my
This is
God.
great. Thank you so much for
Delighted.
coming back.
Delighted.
You have now written a whole
right,
book
this is
about
awkward
the
because
first alien encounter.
all of my
That one
cords
might
are
have.
very
That one might
very
have.
short.
Yeah, it's called Take Me to Your Leader.
I have a roll of toilet
Perspectives
paper.
on your first alien encounter. So it's advice, very handy advice.
Do you need some?
If you meet an alien,
You guys
what
need
do
toilet
do
paper? I have a
first?
roll right here.
And it's a whole conversation about that.
Yes, I read it. I took notes.
Yeah, she has like dog-eared
sure?
pages all
I know.
throughout.
I need to
I'm
be
very
ready.
impressed. Thank you.
I need to be ready, Neil,
Thank you.
for the
Yes.
aliens.
Because
this has
when
got to
you
be
meet
like
the alien,
further away.
You
This has gotta
become
be
the
like
emissary of our entire species. So you don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't fuck it up.
And if you're there, try to. You
Where
want to leave
does
the
this
best
go?
impression
Where will this
possible.
go?
Try to leave behind your friends
Here we
who
go.
think the Earth is flat. You want to leave behind people who don't know what science is, are in denial of how it works, who think Earth is flat, because they will totally mess up our first impression on the aliens. I don't want the alien to run back and say there's no sign of intelligent life on Earth.
But here's the thing, Neil, don't you kind of like, it's like if you see a grizzly bear, you lay dead, so they don't, like you could maybe want them to think you're dumb, so they don't mess with you.
Okay, so
Nope, I'm
The
way too
paw.
low. I'm way too low.
So you're
Okay.
analogizing the alien to a grizzly bear.
No, I'm not analogizing.
If you're laying down, the grizzly doesn't think you're dumb. I think they're supposed
It's
to think
whatever.
you're dead.
Oh,
It's
yes.
whatever
I
kind
don't
you
think
get
it's
from.
any less tasty, freshly dead.
Oh.
than
It's whatever kind you get
moments
from
before being alive.
Costco.
People say I taste
it's
like
the
I've been told.
basic
Okay.
shit.
So Neil,
Yes.
you have dedicated. We're gonna go through the whole book. We're gonna get everyone in
All
here.
right, here we
to
go,
show that
yeah.
you're all ready for your first alien encounter. Should it happen to you? But you dedicate this book to quote believers and skeptics alike.
Yes.
So I want to find out who's in the room. Okay. So if you're in the room, use your
Hang
voice,
on.
shout, clap, etc. If you believe that the aliens have somehow made contact or on Earth, we're covering it up. Any of those things. If you are a believer, make some noise. Woo! Okay. Now, if you're a skeptic, you think all those people are fucking crazy. Please make some noise.
That's about 50-50.
But Neil, you did not make any noise. You didn't shout in either camp.
As an educator, I'm curious how people think so that I can address the occasional tangled mental roadways that confuse people's paths towards what is objectively true in this world.
Aliens, what would happen first? We go to them or they come to us?
Oh, we are so not finding them first.
Okay.
Wait, just hear me
We're
out.
never going to be.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
Okay.
We're never going to be
We
technologically
hadn't
advanced
left
enough.
low Earth orbit in
Technologically.
50 years.
Yeah.
No, sorry, how
Technologically.
58 years.
Yes.
We hadn't left low Earth orbit. And you know where low Earth orbit is? Take Earth, shrink it to a schoolroom globe, okay? Ask yourself, Bezos, Branson, billionaire boys, rockets, how high up above the globe do they go? The thickness of 2 dimes is how high up they go, and we call them astronauts. The
But they're
space station
astronauts, but
orbits
they-
less than a half an inch
but they go do
above the
astronaut
surface
things,
of
do
the
they not?
schoolroom globe. We had not gone farther away from Earth than that half an inch in 58 years, and you want to believe that we're going to go somewhere else and meet an alien? No, they're coming here.
Okay.
And if they come here,
Well, I mean, we could
they're smarter,
teleport.
they're
We're gonna
probably better
teleport.
looking.
We're gonna teleport that shit.
They're hotter? They're smarter and hotter than us?
Just
gonna
imagine
teleport.
how we would feel. If they're smarter, they got better technology, and if they were better looking, you ever notice that all
I mean, Neil, imagine us teleporting. Imagine us teleporting. Do you not see that? Do you not see us teleporting? What about Project Stargate? I gotta kick my feet up. There we go. That's a real podcast. Yeah. If I'm not relaxed, then we cannot podcast. All right. I wish that I could catch my whole body on the green screen, but I don't think that's gonna
all
happen.
aliens are bald?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least we could do is give them a head of hair.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
mind.
well-coiffed alien.
I know.
Let me,
Wouldn't that be cool? Alien coming down off the thing
Well,
with
if you
a
notice,
beautiful head of hair.
if you notice, the latest picture of Trump with the alien has not only dress shoes on the male alien, but long, flowing, beautiful hair on the female alien. Because she's a lady. How are you gonna know she's a lady if you don't put long, flowing, beautiful locks on her? You know, you're never gonna know. And we gotta know. We gotta know which alien is the lady alien. If she doesn't have tits and long hair, we would never know. We would think, that it could be anything. It could be any gender, any of the 2 genders. It could be any of the 2 genders.
You know,
We gotta send those aliens to Turkey. Get that hair. You know, I have to say, I don't think that Bezos Billionaire Boys Club are gonna like you doing the small hand demonstration of the half an inch. Now they're gonna be building more rockets. More
no, they
rockets.
didn't even go a half an inch. They went the thickness of 2 dimes. Whether or not they appreciate it, I cannot concern myself
Yes.
with those who are offended by what is objectively true in this world.
100%. So,
True.
now,
True dat.
So if we wanted to test if any of the people on
True
Earth are
dat.
aliens, say Musk, Tom Cruise, Bjork, how would we do it? You
Good,
talked
very
about a
good,
coin.
very good. So, in Men in Black, they did this brilliantly. If you looked carefully at the board that was monitoring all of the aliens on Earth, they were actual people that we know, okay? But for each one of them, they look a little different.
I almost got-
Like one of them was
I
Michael
almost got
Jackson.
into podcast
If someone
mode.
is an alien, and they have identical human physiology, then it's meaningless to think of them as alien. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, acts like a duck, it's a duck.
Okay.
It may be interestingly alien if their organs were in all different places.
Yeah.
So if they're otherwise masquerading as human, but you know there's something different inside, take them to an x-ray machine. And if their heart is up here and their lungs are down here, they're alien. And the way you do that is they did it in the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, yeah, they did.
One of the most terrifying movies there ever was, and the only aliens were humans because the aliens inhabited their bodies and they were your friends, your loved ones,
Yeah,
and
they
you didn't
snatched them.
know
They snatched their
until
bodies.
you learned they had no emotions because they couldn't copy our emotions, and that's how you found out. And there's that show on Apple Plus.
Pluribus.
It's the hive mind of other people who otherwise look human. They would pass the physiology test, but they were alien in their mind.
So this sounds like another.
Sounds like another what?
That's your planetarium director voice that you're doing there.
Oh, welcome to the universe.
I tried backstage
I like
to do
it.
this with Neil. Should I try?
Try.
Welcome to the universe.
Okay, that's good.
Better than that.
That's the voice you get
I'm
at
gonna
the
find the
doorway
perfect
entering the
voice for
universe.
this,
Okay, but
I'm
once
gonna
you're
enter
in the universe,
podcast mode.
the voice has to come from everywhere. I know what it was. Her voice is what, for some reason, we all agreed is the voice of the computer telling you that everything's about to self-destruct. Say, give me some. Say.
Yes. The world will self-destruct. Please proceed calmly. Okay, I just said it. Yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson was robbed by Morgan Freeman. Is what we want to say.
Welcome to the universe.
Hang tight for a second. We'll be right back.
Was he?
I brought you something, Neil.
Really?
A gift, yes.
What's that? What?
I read about these. They can apparently protect you from alien telepathy.
Tinfoil hat.
And also from
Telepathy?
government surveillance. I found it on the internet. Would you like to wear it, Neil?
Only in the moment I feel at risk.
So no, would you like to crumple it up and throw it?
So I did
out?
no, because in fact I talk about these in the book. There's a chapter on alien powers.
Oh yes, I remember that.
There's a whole chapter on what is it about us that might look really alien to them. For example, let's say you befriend the alien and you're hanging out, and then you tell the alien, "Excuse me, I have to lay down horizontally and be semi-comatose for 1/3 of Earth's rotation."
That means sleeping for people who didn't get the joke.
Right? I mean, I could say 8 hours, but the alien won't understand hours.
Right.
But they'll know Earth's rotation. So this alien talk, you're befriending them. So the alien would say, "What the hell is what? What is that?" If the alien doesn't sleep. But here's a problem with putting so much human things on an alien.
You're gonna wear the hat.
Kiss my bum.
But you're gonna wear the hat, Neil. You don't
Oh,
want
I'm gonna tell you how.
Wear
not
the
to wear
fucking hat, Neil!
Okay, so.
God damn it! What?
Okay, don't wear the hat.
So there's a whole chapter.
What the
on one
goddamn
of the things
hat?
that we-
Neil, no more creativity.
No, last one.
Okay.
So just you gotta, the book tries to set,
Neil,
prepare you
just
for this
just
first
stop.
encounter.
Just
And
stop.
if the alien has just a little dog in it, let's
Yeah.
say, because you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much. Then the alien lands. The first thing it might do is want to go around and sniff your butt. Okay? You have to be ready for that and not chastise the alien.
Yes.
Because dogs do that all the time. You don't scold them.
No.
That's just how they roll.
That's how they roll.
Okay.
Okay.
And if the alien walks up to you and there's
How do
some
you know the
appendage
aliens
hanging out
sleep?
in front, don't just grab it and shake it.
Come on, Patrick. You don't know if the alien sleeps or not. Aliens might not sleep. Alright. And they probably don't need it. Because they're beautiful as it is. Alright? They're beautiful just the way they are. 'Cause you're amazing. Just the way you are. And when you smile. Is that good? Do you like that? Is it good? I know that the hang on. Did I tighten that again? What the fudge is wrong with me? I'm trying to find the perfect spot for this. Because we're supposed to be in podcast mode. We have to enter podcast mode. Because we're watching a podcast. I'm determined. Don't take this away from me, okay? Okay, public? Alright, public, don't take it away from me. Don't do it. Ow. That didn't hurt. Christina Aguilera, beautiful. Because you're beautiful. Just the way you are. Is that not the song? Oh, that's not the song. Whatever. I know a song or two. Christina Aguilera, just the way you are. Ooh, yeah. That's how it goes, right? Cause you are beautiful in every single way. Words can't bring me down. Yeah.
You don't know what part of
Don't
alien
you bring me
anatomy
down
you just
today.
read.
Neil, you could be canceled in the universe if you grab that appendage.
Because you don't know.
You don't know.
So
Okay.
just
Don't do it, Neil.
Now, there's a whole chapter on alien powers. So
Don't do it,
at
Neil.
the part where they have powers, one of them might be the power to either
Don't
read
do
your
it.
mind or influence your mind.
Don't grab
Famously,
the alien dick.
They do this in Star Wars with the Jedi. What do they call this thing?
Mind trick. The Jedi mind trick.
Mind. Okay,
Yeah.
where you don't have passage through the gate.
Yeah.
And is it? I have passage through the gate. Yes, you do have passage through the gate. Okay, so you get inside their head to get them to think something that they would not otherwise have thought. That is only possible if you can interact with the electromagnetic field
Okay.
that your brain generates. Electrochemical, but it's the electrical ones that come out of your head and can be measured. Okay, you can create a cage with metal that is completely impervious to electromagnetic energy.
Faraday cage.
It's called a Faraday cage. If I put you in this cage that's surrounded by metal and put you in a lightning storm, if you get hit by lightning, it'll go around the cage and you are completely safe inside.
No.
So even though they call it tinfoil hat, it
Not
really means
lightning.
aluminum foil hat. And this would count as a Faraday cage on your head. So what I say in there is those aliens would be able to get inside everybody's head except those people who
Oh,
Not lightning. There's no way.
We're protected now, Neil.
from aliens reading
There's
the
no way that
electromagnetic
you would
energy
be saved
of your
from
brain.
lightning.
If they could.
Yes.
If you were
Right now
Faraday
in
cage.
Washington,
I
there's a
just
lot of
don't-
discussion
I can't
about
believe
the
that.
UFO files. And we're going to beam in President Trump for a moment because he's just spoken about these files at Turning Point USA. And let's see what he said.
To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. So
Phenomena.
today, I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, a little bit. That this process is well underway, and we
this
found
sounds like
many
his normal
very interesting
cadence.
documents, I must say. And the first releases will begin very, very soon.
This is they're very similar to how he normally talks. So I honestly don't feel like I've seen anything different happen here. This is very Trump. Not the only talent he has is NDT Donald Trump. The only talent he has is opening his mouth. True, he does open his mouth a lot. I don't know that I would call him necessarily especially skilled in that, but he definitely does it a lot.
Many very interesting documents coming out very, very soon. Have
Very,
you
very
been
soon. Interesting
constantly refreshing
documents. Very
alien.gov,
interesting.
which is a real website, Neil, to find out about the phenomena?
I'm not authorized to say what I know about them.
Phenomena.
So I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
All right, many people who are sure
I'm ready to
the
hear 'em.
government is masterminding
Tell me.
a cover-up.
Yeah.
Okay. These are the same people, typically, who are certain that the government is an oversized, bloated, inefficient bureaucracy. I don't see how both can be true at the same time.
Omnipotent and incompetent all at once.
Yeah, I
They
don't
can't.
see
They're
how
not
can.
allowed.
Plus,
They
it would be
can't. They're not
odd
allowed to be true at
if
the same time.
aliens
You're not
only
allowed.
visited government facilities.
Yes. They like Area 51
I'm
in
just
Roswell.
asking. Is that unfair? I'm just asking.
Neil, have you ever been to the DMV? It's very exciting. You wouldn't want to go? Okay, so I want to ask you this, but
So here's the thing.
Or
People
the
think
Pentagon,
that-
or any judicial
People
hearing.
think
yes, tell us.
that there's some big
Or
government
anywhere
cover-up. How
near
could there be a cover-up
Congress.
when in
Or the Senate.
2023, 2024, and 2025, there's a parade of people in Congress they were insiders giving first-hand knowledge of alien crashed hardware and aliens themselves. If they're all government officials all saying this in Congress,
Non-human
then it's not a cover-up anymore.
life forms.
So
All right, you got to say it
what is the
correctly.
cover-up you're looking for when they're saying it's real? And I thought that was when they pulled out all the documents, but apparently there's more.
There's more.
That will be strategically announced
There's always
when
more.
he needs it in the news cycle.
There's another kind of files they're putting away.
more.
So here's the thing, Neil. But when
Unfortunately, not
out,
yet.
Would you look at them?
Hopefully
and
at
what
some
would you
point.
Control F? What's the Neil deGrasse Tyson Control F on alien.gov? As and when they come out. The keyword.
Is Control F defined?
Yes.
The Control F.
Okay. On a Mac, it's Command F.
Yeah, Command F.
Yeah. Oh, so I'd be delighted to learn what's in the documents. I don't know that they would say much different from what people already said is in them. That they found crashed saucers, and they got aliens in a locked box in the back, or locked cabin, locked shed, and then, I'd be surprised if it was different from that. But what I really want is for them to bring forth the alien.
A
That would be
real,
really
real
cool.
alien body.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't
for
look for any
fucking
words,
real,
there's no
dude.
keywords that you would. What would you? I mean, if you got that, would you just read it from head to toe?
What define?
Yeah,
No,
what's
no,
defined?
no, I don't. No, if you do a Command F, you are presuming you know what word you should look for, rather than let the document
And
be
it would
what it
be
needs to be.
Yeah.
for you to
something about
understand it.
aliens.
Okay.
I will not prejudge a document by searching within it. By the way, AI will do that.
Yes.
No, do it.
It will. We're gonna get to AI.
Okay, fine.
In a moment. But first,
Do
we're gonna see because the reason this
Pre-watch a
whole
document.
UFO files conversation has come about recently is because of a viral clip, another clip, featuring President Obama.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no
We
underground
don't. You don't know
facility.
that. You don't know that. You piece of shit. You don't know that. You asshole. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. You know. You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. Come on, Barack. I like you, but you're you're not being truthful right now. You know there's fucking aliens. You've seen them. You've seen the aliens. You fucking smoked weed with those aliens. Don't fucking lie, dude. Don't lie. Don't be one of those guys who denies all this shit. Don't do it. You know? Rest on your laurels. Preach and pray and admit that you smoked weed with the aliens. That's all I want. Skinny Bob was lighting up with Barry O.B. and fucking George Soros at the Bohemian Grove and talking about, like, they were laughing about how they managed to get fluoride into the water to turn all the goddamn frogs gay. Like, come on. Just admit it, dude. Have you ever had sleep paralysis? I do not think that I have. There is every chance that I may have, but I don't think that I ever have. I don't. If I did, I don't remember it.
Unless there's this enormous conspiracy and they hid it from the president of the United States.
So
yeah, why do you think they call them conspiracy theories, Barry?
We actually have them. No, the president say that's a funny.
Why do you think they call them conspiracy theories? It's because they're it's about a conspiracy. It's because you guys are trying to cover up all the alien stuff. You said yourself, I remember you saying yourself that you smoked weed with these aliens and that you guys reached a pending agreement for universal peace. All right? So I don't want to know that was just, nonsense. You said they exist. That means you were dropping acid with them. Don't fucking deny me, Barry.
Any comment? Because
Barry O.B.
if he's part of the conspiracy, that's exactly what he would say.
Yes.
Exactly.
But Neil.
Exactly.
Neil,
That's exactly what I'm saying.
To keep this from President Obama and other presidents?
I'm not authorized to. No. Okay. Obviously, if the government conspiracy, the president is in on it. But he said aliens in the universe.
Yes.
As in
the devil? What about the devil? Is Neil deGrasse Tyson the devil?
Anyone who studied the problem would say, and he's an educated man, so he knows what one would say in that situation.
The clip, it just was
but how it took that, that means they're actually aliens in the lockbox.
Typically.
But then he then denies it.
Yeah.
So.
But then he had to walk it back. President Obama had to walk it back. Did he call
he's
you
a
during this
sneaky
time?
guy. He's a sneaky guy. He worked for the CIA, didn't he? He was like drone striking people and shit. He knows a covert op when he sees one. So wouldn't he want to, like maybe be like, oh yeah, of course aliens are real, but I ain't seen any. You got to talk to that guy who's in charge right now. Maybe he's seen him. Maybe he knows what's up. Go talk to that guy. See what's up with that guy.
Speak to President Obama?
Not during then, but while he was president, we had some conversation.
Okay, but not during this alien walk back situation.
About space, probably.
Okay. Do you think it says more about...
Do you want to know what we talked about when we were together?
No, because it's so long ago.
You just moved on.
I don't think it matters.
No. Wait. But did you talk about aliens?
They talked about elitist stuff, while they were feasting on adrenochrome and trafficking children and trying to turn the whole country trans. That's why, that's why she doesn't care, because she already knows.
Is my question.
Briefly, but nothing substantive.
What did you talk about that was substantive?
A lot of things, just to say to the world.
Yeah.
I had dinner with him.
You met him at Roswell, and then you guys...
Yeah, no, we did not meet at Roswell.
Okay, correct that.
No. And they mentioned Area 51.
They mentioned Area 51.
And if we did... stop
Imagine Area 51.
Because?
Well, because it's a top secret facility. With or without aliens, it's top secret. Air Force facility in New Mexico. But I just still have these other questions.
Yeah.
Like, why hasn't the janitor snuck out a photo of the aliens?
Yes.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I've been saying. Like, people are so petty and they're so broken too. Just we are broken as a whole entire civilization because we've been exploited all this time, and there's no way that a person. I mean, I know that it's like, oh well, we have to get into fucking societal issues here, but I understand that there's certain civil classes that exist right now in our society. Like you can be on the bottom, you can be in middle class, you can be upper middle, whatever. But there are people who are so disillusioned with how things are going on that they probably, were they in a position to be a janitor at Area 51, would have leaked something by now. There are people who get shit on all the time. And I say that with quotes because I know that's what people would say, but I agree with that too, that they get shit on all the time. But the lowest positions on the totem pole are often the ones that people are going to learn to resent the quickest. And unless you have a way of keeping people silent, meaning through either coercion or death, then I just don't see how a janitor hasn't snuck something out. I don't see how an independent consultant hasn't snuck something out, or someone who might have been screwed over by one of these government agencies. It's not like they've never done that before. Wouldn't sneak something out. It's not that compartmentalized. Bob Lazar was able to talk about all this shit he knew about the engine that they supposedly had that he definitely didn't make up. And he was able to detail all the shit that was kept within the compartmentalization. That's not how that works. You can't transcend it. It's designed that way for a reason. Anunnaki are our gods. Okay. We call them custodial engineers. Or are you talking about the Anunnaki, or are you talking about janitors? Because custodial engineer for a janitor position just sounds like someone who's trying to dress up a job for to get more applicants, and then they're going to realize once they actually get hired onto the job that they're just janitors. But somebody would have snuck something out. Somebody, some kind of like pilot, some kind of engineer, some kind of data consultant, somebody would have snuck something out. If not for personal gain, or out of revenge, or out of like, some kind of resolution to some issue, but because of some need for altruism, like some kind of need for like the government not keeping secrets from us or something like that. There are all sorts of reasons why somebody would want this stuff to go public that are not in self-interest, and that wouldn't be cowed down by like somebody trying to silence them in some way without committing violence. Like, oh, we're going to sue you into the ground. I don't care. The story needs to be told. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense for like that the discussion of disclosure on this type of thing if aliens do indeed exist. You know what I mean? Whales are altruistic? Are you just throwing out phrases right now?
Because the janitor would lose a job that day.
Yeah.
But he would be the most famous, richest janitor there ever was.
True.
His stuff, that video would go viral faster than kitten videos.
There's a lot of questions out there right now from the tinfoil
You would-
hat wearers.
Okay, I don't
You would
have
have
any problem
changed
with any of their questions.
the course
I'm perfectly happy to
of
believe
human history.
that there are aliens in the back room. But if you want to turn my sentence
In the
from
back
believe
rooms.
to know, you got to bring out the alien. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so.
Not this.
Okay.
Did you read this piece in the Journal last summer where
Certainly not. The journal, you mean the Wall Street Journal?
Unless aliens like have some kind of a visage where at the moment you look upon it you turn to stone, I don't think that there's any reason to hold any proof of actual alien life if we have footage of it back from the public. It just doesn't seem like that's a pertinent move for the government, especially if they're trying to distract from the Epstein files. I would think that he'd want to just fucking let a torrent of information free.
Street Journal.
No.
Okay. Certainly not. Ooh, okay. Some
No, I
shade.
don't read the Wall Street Journal. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, there was a story about
That's how I
how
know. That's why I can answer
Why
that.
the hell not, Neil? How dare you not read the Wall Street Journal? It's one of the world's most preeminent publications. All right, I read it on my way to the Hamptons every winter share.
In advance. Okay.
There was a story about how Area 51, they actually created misinformation about aliens. They sent somebody out to put saucers up in a cafe near Area 51 to distract people from a stealth ship that they...
Yeah, and isn't that wasn't that Project Blue Book's whole deal was like trying to create a narrative around that they knew too much about flying saucers. They were leaking information to Bender and his partners who were creating the magazine, the zine, if you will, for NIDS, and they were trying to sow disinformation. That could be exactly what they're talking about right now. I'm not sure.
They were building against Russia. Did you see that?
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
no, it
There's
wasn't
another
during the
thing
Cold War. It
where
was like in the 40s.
If everyone
or 50s.
thinks there are aliens coming, more people will look up and
It was
report
just
what they
before
see.
Roswell,
And it was
I
the Cold
believe.
War. So if Russia was testing some new kind of thing, you'd want as much data as you can because the population of the
Who really cares about the Epstein files? That's about the big owl statue in the forest of California. No, what you're talking about is Bohemian Grove. That's not necessarily connected to the Epstein files, though there's every chance it could be. I think what people really want out of the Epstein files is for the people who are credibly named as having trafficked and abused children to be held accountable, whether they're on the right or left side of the aisle. And I think that the people on the liberal side of the aisle are getting a little, a little bit like up in their own asses. What's a good single term for being up in their own asses? They're getting really meta about everything. Like, we're politicians and this is what we're supposed to say, as opposed to we have a view and this is what needs to be said about that view. Both sides are there. No. Oh, yeah. The liberal side of the aisle, though, they are pushing for these things that are essentially just performative actions. Like they're trying to say like, we want Epstein file transparency, but I don't think that they really have any intentions of trying to hold people accountable because they themselves are on the files as well. And then I think the Republican side of things is just they circle the wagons whenever PDF files are outed. They just circle the wagons and protect them, just like Christians. And since Trump is in power now, they capitulate to the higher authority, whether that be God or Trump, whoever's the one holding their fist against their neck at that particular moment in time. And, then they just kind of like stop. Like they if he tries to shift the focus, then they will allow that to happen and they'll join him in that. So, I mean, definitely both sides are complicit in this in some respect. And I think what most people really want is just accountability, not transparency necessarily. Like, yeah, it's great to know who's in the files, but it's really about holding them accountable. It's really about arresting those people and making sure they never see the light of day again. And the problem that we face as people on the ground looking up at that kind of shit is that the people in the government are powerful. They are rich. They make money from the people who own the corporations that have the lobbyists that influence the decisions made in Congress and the Senate. And they benefit from all the monstrous shit that the people in the Epstein class did to kids, because they make the stock money, they make the fucking Palantir money, they make all the money from all the aerospace and all the defense contracts and all the stocks and shit that Republicans make money from. And so if that were to get upended by all these CEOs and famous family people being arrested and held accountable for their monstrous acts against kids, they're afraid that the whole financial institution would collapse and they'd lose all their money. And so that's why the endless pushback, the endless going back and forth, the endless going around and around and around. That's why that keeps happening. That's why all the distractions.
Country functionally crowdsources what is happening.
Now that's a
inside.
conspiracy theory that I wish people would glom onto. Just the rampant corruption
we see this
in our
guy more
government.
thoroughly
The
than
fact that we've secretly over the last 50 years become, or I guess over the last 80 years, it was 50 years when I was a kid, but over the last 80 years, we've become a corporatocracy. It's fucked up. When do we march against them all? We should have more than 2 political parties like other countries. Yeah, no shit, Patrick. I just don't think that people they're not thinking about that. We've done such a good job since the Reagan era of sowing disinformation and division across the country that people don't recognize the larger issue because they're so caught up in Mexicans taking our jobs. They're so caught up in gay people taking our jobs and taking away the sanctity of marriage and like all culture wars bullshit. They're so caught up in that or defending against it that we're not worried about, any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It sucks. Randall Cheek 420420. Hey, we have 420 subscribers. Although I think we have a couple more now. But we had 420 subscribers at the beginning of today, and I did smoke about it. Holy shit, he has 5 watching. I have 6 now, bitch.
Specialized places in the
Okay,
military.
it went back down
that
to
are
5,
in their
but it
location.
was at 6,
Now we have satellites, of course,
bitch.
that can do this. I'm just saying that if you say there might be aliens, keep looking up, and then everybody looks up all the time, giving excellent data back to the military, which is exactly what they want.
We'll come back to all this, but I want to really get to the etiquette part, because we don't want to say, if they show up, we want to know what to do. And you've said already, don't grab them by the appendage.
But yeah, if there's an appendage sticking out.
Let them sniff your butt.
If that's what they want, yes.
That's what they want. Okay. And you also write in the
Don't
book
grab
that we
the
should have a
appendage.
kind of, it's like the opposite of a zombie go bag. You recommend having
Or
a prep,
do.
a prep kit for when the aliens show up because you want to prove we're intelligent.
Yes.
You have 2 things in there.
Yeah, because I think, unlike what you said, I think if we show that we're intelligent, they might then respect us.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just lay down dead or do something stupid, the aliens just say, come on. They'll either go back saying there's no intelligent life on Earth or invite all the other aliens to give them another planet to dominate.
Okay.
But what's the problem? I mean, what if they're not the conquering type? What if they just want to take care of us? Like, turn us all into puppy people? We all just become pets. I'd be okay with that. 3 squares a day, get to shit and piss, like, just everywhere. I'd be okay with that.
I hope I'm not the emissary.
Or they might turn us into their pets.
Could be nice. We treat our pets well, as
We
you
treat
pointed
our
out.
pets
Yes.
really. We spend 10 times as much money on pet accoutrements than
You know,
the government's-
maybe that actually could be what the vertical could be. The vertical. You have 2 viewers on the vertical as well, but that number is ready to skyrocket at any moment. Oh yeah, I'm primed for it. I'm ready. I've been in the it's just a matter of time game for quite a while now. Hey. Ow.
Spends on homeless people.
Yes.
But maybe this is why furries exist, Maybe this is like this is the aliens trying to turn us into having like pet mindsets, and like they accidentally didn't go far enough into like becoming animals, and they just sent waves into our brains that were like, now you're just going to dress up like animals. You're going to put cat ears and a tail in your butt. For those who get freaky, or just, I guess, around your waist if you're going to be a nerd about it. What's up, Raw One? How's it going? But maybe that's where furries come from, you know? It's the aliens trying to get us ready to become pets. Bet you didn't know that.
Factor of 10.
Factor of 10.
The real number's in here. It's around a factor of 10.
Factor of 10. So you talk about carrying around two things. The first is the Pythagorean theorem.
Yes.
Or blocks that could help you demonstrate that you know it.
Yes.
And the second is a periodic table of elements.
Yes.
Do you have both of these things right now?
No.
Is that because you think you're not going to see an alien tonight?
Yeah, tonight I did not prep myself for that possibility.
See, and Patrick admitting that is becoming even more and more accepted these days. You know, I think I wouldn't have been surprised if you said that you were into the furry stuff or the feet stuff or the though incest is a little out of the game now. Who was it that was addicted to incest porn? Oh, Terrence Howard. So yeah, that's a little out of fashion, but I think the furry stuff is in. I think the feet stuff is in. Fucking gross. I think there's a few. I think there's a few that are like pretty hot right now. Femboys. That's a big one. A couple of games on Steam I just saw released that have femboy in the title. I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now. You know, the internet's in a very interesting place. I'll say that much. A channel I watched randomly ended up on the YouTube homepage one day and instantly had thousands of viewers on his live. He was about to catch a predator, but he never showed. See, that shit's suspenseful though, you know? And I one could also say does more harm than good, but is entertaining to watch. Gay furry. Okay, well, you know, like I said, that's, you know, the things that people would have thought were weird 10 years ago are just becoming more and more accepted now, you know? So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised when you say that you're into the gay furry stuff. Not at all surprised to hear that opinion on the internet. Not at all.
Ability. But
explain.
Were I to go out alone on the country road, because I
can't say that I agree or share your passion or anything like that, but I support you.
I'm dead serious. Not that I want to leave Earth. I love me some Earth.
Chris Hansen's still around. He's still doing third party To Catch a Predator stuff. He's showing up on like there's YouTubers who do that. And again, we could get into why that To Catch a Predator stuff is kind of exploitative and just really bad for people in general. But I think the people mean well, and Chris Hansen is one of them. He's doing sort of the same thing, and I don't know if it bursts the bubble a little bit, but his success rate is actually very abysmal when it comes to lasting convictions that don't get overturned on appeal, just because of how they did things. But he's still around. He's still doing stuff. He's still doing the same thing that he was before. Good for him. I've seen YouTube ones that do too good for them. No one should be a PDF file and be able to get away with it. True to you, sir. Not really my type of content. Yeah, I don't typically watch it, but if I find it on, you know, someone else's channel, or if they're watching it and talking about it, then I tend to find that pretty entertaining. And, you know, back in the day when Catfish was on MTV, like, that was kind of an entertaining program to watch. But is it still on? It doesn't have the guy who started it on it anymore, if it is. But you know, it's the same thing. Sensationalist reality TV, same shit. But I mean, that's like kind of what that like To Catch a Predator stuff is on YouTube. It's the same stuff. It's like all the streams that do the best right now, like just live streams, like just in a general category on YouTube, are the ones that have like senses of urgency, like really impending things happening. Like they're like, oh, I've got 911 dialed on my phone. I'm gonna hit send. If I get like 5 viewers, I'm gonna hit send. You know what I mean? Like, so they create a lot of that stuff, but you know, it's not sensationalist. It's not drama inducing, and so I don't think it would make it to the main page. That stuff would. The To Catch a Predator stuff definitely would.
It's just that I've been a curious.
But hey, you know, maybe that'll happen to me someday. Maybe I'll get to the main page and a bunch of people will see me and be like, "Oh shit, you know, I like this guy," or something. I don't know. You know, I like me. I think I'm okay. What's that one? Stuart Smiley. What's his catchphrase? Something oh man, what is it? I don't remember it. Something about like, and people like me or something. I forget.
I was 9 years old.
Stuart's smiling.
Ever since I could look up, I've wanted to know
Showing my
the
age here.
universe. Ever since our first visit to the Hayden Planetarium.
Yeah.
Just
That-
put a
right
hot
now
guy
serves
on
as the
TV
record.
and it's
That was
going
the
to be a
place that turned me on.
success. Patrick, what the fuck, man? What the fuck are you doing? Why would you say that? I only have 4 viewers, you ass. How
And
fucking dare
because
you?
growing up in the Bronx, we don't have access. Nowhere
dare
in the
you,
city
good
does
sir.
anyone have a relationship with the night
Where's
sky.
my water? Yeah.
There were tall buildings, and back when I grew up, there was light pollution, air pollution. So the planetarium was my haven. And I went there. The first time I saw the stars come out, I said, "This is a hoax."
The stars?
I know how many stars in the night sky. There's 8 of them that I saw from the Bronx. So I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was a beautiful hoax,
Neil
but a hoax
fucking-
nonetheless. But since then, I wanted to become one.
I almost called him Neil Patrick Harris. Neil deGrasse Tyson thought originally that stars were a hoax. See, people can change. You see what I mean? Like, that is a classic example of how people can change. I thought they were a hoax. Because he grew up in the
with
Bronx.
the universe. And in fact, dare I say, I think the universe chose me to follow it into the cosmos. So from that day on, so I've been thinking about
Now,
it.
doesn't that
ever
sound
since.
cooler
this book
than,
came
like,
out now,
God
but
chose me to
it's
worship him?
lifelong reflections on what I would say, how I would
think
behave,
so.
how would I convey. Because you can't just do math on a page and show that math is our language of the universe, even if it's its language. So you want some symbols. The Pythagorean theorem, you learn that as math, but it's really symbols. If you
Yeah, because we used numbers to interpret what it is that we're seeing in the math. Which is, I think, Project Hail Mary kind of says they say that through the storytelling, but it's really cool just kind of how that movie flows. Lord and Miller are real good at making movies. Real darn good. 21 Jump Street is so fucking funny.
draw a square off one side.
And if we
of
never
that
had 22
triangle,
Jump Street, you guys
the
never
area
would have
is
had.
A square.
My name is
B
Jeff.
squared, C squared. So if you draw
My
a
name
right
is
triangle
Jeff.
and 3 squares coming off the sides, you're telling the alien, you know that A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Because those are squares.
Yes. And it gets
They don't
exciting.
even have to know your symbols.
Yeah.
They don't have to know what A, B, or C
But
is.
they
Or
have to
that
be able
little 2 is squared. They don't have to know that.
They have to see.
You better know them symbols.
So the alien
you better
likely can see.
Don't sleep on the symbols.
Because sight is something that was developed multiple times independently in the tree of life. Independently.
Do mushrooms have eyes?
No.
Don't
Generally, things that
don't
move
make fun of science.
want and need eyes. And mushrooms
do it.
don't. Okay? So the fly eye, the octopus eye, the echolocation of bats, the mammal eye, the vertebrate eye are completely different lineages with no common origin in the tree of life. So important is sight that it arose in multiple ways, because sight is your sense that allows you to know the farthest of what's happening in the world, to warn you against a predator, to see where there might be food. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay,
say
but why?
the aliens can
But why couldn't evolution just have made us smell really far? You know, or hear really far, right? Huh? What about that? Huh? What about that, evolutionists? Huh? What about that, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I almost actually called Neil Patrick Harris? What about that, Neil Patrick Harris? Eh?
probably see, but they might not see in visible light.
So, okay, this is what we want to show them. We have a periodic table. We got
Oh,
to high five
periodic
with them.
table.
So, anyway, so, okay. No.
So the periodic
Neil,
table.
don't-
Either that or you're carrying the
No,
golden
I'm
disc
not.
around with you.
I'm not.
the whole
Periodic
time.
tables?
Yes.
Okay. They won't have the symbols we have, of course. They won't. Okay. We have some interesting symbols, by the way.
Okay, we can't discuss them.
These.
That's how we created pyramids with the Pythagorean theorem. Just saying, all of the previous civilizations all figured it out on their own, or did they? Aliens. All the previous civilizations figure out on their own, or did they? You okay? We repeated that, but that's fine. I understood what you're saying.
The elements exist on Earth as in the heavens.
Okay.
We find them across the universe and across time. And it's the organization of the table that reveals that we know quantum physics, because that's why some elements are above others. It's not just throw them in a table. Do you realize in science fiction, they always try to find life forms based on what other element?
Hydrogen.
Carbon.
No, we're based on carbon. Give me another one. Silicon. Real sci-fi fans there. So we heard about silicon. You know why they come up with silicon? Silicon sits directly below carbon on the periodic table, and all elements in a column make the same kinds of molecules. So you
I actually did
thank
not
you
know
for the
that
Twilight
about the
Zone music there.
periodic table.
So do it in the microphone so we work. Okay. So every molecule in your body that's based on carbon, swap it with silicon. And so the idea
I don't want
is maybe
to.
make silicon-based
Don't
life
make me swap
on
my
the
carbons with
blueprint that we already have.
silicons.
This is the creativity of science fiction writing. Point is, these
Don't make me
elements
do
are
it.
across the universe. If they know anything about the elements, they would organize them in the same way. So we would show a chart of boxes, and they will know immediately it's a periodic table, even if our symbols don't match.
I love it. So this is all the stuff that we can use to prove that we're intelligent. What if we wanted to not let them see how dumb we are? So what social media phenomenon would you most want to hide from the aliens?
Just
Our
don't
belief
fall
in
down
manifestation,
accidentally.
gender reveal parties,
Just don't
or
do
DJ
that.
as a viable career path for a millennial man.
Yeah, each of those would be too complicated for them to. I mean, unless they're really, really smart in our culture.
Yeah.
So you said gender reveal parties.
Yes.
And what's the
Manifestation.
I don't. What is
When you
manifestation?
can manifest, like I just thought of having Neil deGrasse Tyson at the Comedy Cellar. Now it's happening because I thought of it.
Oh, but you didn't produce me out of thin air.
But manifestation means like you want it, therefore you wanted to win an Oscar, therefore you
It's
want
the secret. That's manifestation. You drew it on a dream board, and then you manifest it. You dream it, visualize it, manifest it.
Right. So what happens is they don't interview all the people that wanted to win an Oscar and didn't.
Yes. That's what happened.
They need to be in the data set as well.
Okay.
Well, can I give an example?
Sure.
Okay. So let's say I get 1,000 people, and I give everyone a coin, and I say, flip the coin. If you have tails, just sit down. So now how many? Like approximately 500. Yeah, half of them. So flip a coin, half sit down. Flip a coin, half. It's 500 sit down, 250, 120, 60, 30, 15, 8, 4, 2.
86,
one person
5,000,
standing at the end.
23.
Do you
48.
realize in this experiment that last person standing flipped heads 10 consecutive times? What does the press do? The press goes to
Manifest is my least favorite religion. It's the same across a few religions, all right? There's a bunch of manifestors out there. There are some master manifestors, all right? So what's on the plate today? Found any aliens, detected a time traveler. What's deGrasse debating? He's going over the disclosure, like all the files that were released, and she's asking him questions about it, and he's just giving his insights. Very fun. It is also in this video. It's 420. And we hit yesterday on this channel. We hit 420 subs, so I figured it was time to celebrate. And so I smoked about it earlier, and we watched, and we've now started watching this.
to that person. They say, how do you feel about this? Did you know you would win? I felt heads energy halfway through, and I just knew, and all kinds of bullshit comes out of their mouth that they believe for themselves.
Yeah.
But the other people who felt heads energy.
And we'll probably celebrate again when I hit 500 subs. Gosh darn it. This is over the entire life of my content creation experience. This is the third channel that I've made, and it is the one that I've had the longest, and it is funnily enough, which is I learned a UK and Canadian thing, anywhere that's been colonized by the English that are US adjacent, just across the pond or its hat, use funnily enough for some reason. I'm guessing that's probably present in other cultures too. But it's the one that has grown the slowest. Isn't that crazy? I have like 1,500 subs, 2,000 subs or something like that on my comic book channel, and then I have like, I think I had one where I had like a just pet videos, and that has like 2K. Isn't that crazy? I just finished testing my AI security system with behavior detection and positional sharing. Behavioral detection? Okay, the only thing I try to manifest is money in my pocket. Yeah, really, though. Not working today, though. Maybe tomorrow. You know, you never know. You know? If we wish hard enough for $1 million to enter our bank accounts, maybe it'll happen. Just keep wishing. You never know. But if you try and do that, if you try to wish in one hand and then shit in the other, one's going to fill up much quicker.
Energy who didn't make it to the end are not interviewed by the press. So you don't get the full hammer of the statistics of the failure of everybody who wanted to flip heads 10 consecutive times. This is probability and statistics, and the human mind is woefully inept at thinking statistically about the world, and that saddens me. And it's no one's fault. It's not your fault. Do you know that?
I probably don't.
Do you know
Tell me.
that arithmetic, algebra, trigonometry, calculus were all invented before the first person thought that it might be a good idea to take an average of numbers. Probability is the last of the branches of math. And how can that be with all these brilliant thinkers that came before us? There must be something about our brain wiring that is incommensurate with thinking that way. And there's an entire industry that exploits that weakness, and they're called casinos. Okay?
Yes.
I'm in a casino, there's someone betting on a 7 in a roulette table. I say, why do you keep betting on 7? They say, it's due. And I say, it's not due. And they show the previous roll.
Yes.
And there's no 7 there. They say, it's 2. No, it's not 2.
Yeah.
They're exploiting our weakness. Did you know?
Wait.
Do you know that
Yes.
the American Physical Society?
I don't.
We are so the physicists of the country.
Yes.
We were going to have our annual conference in San Diego. There was a hotel snafu, and we had to pivot. And the MGM Grand, then the MGM Marina, one of the biggest hotels in the world in Vegas, said, we'll take you.
Oh, God.
Because it's on the spot, last minute.
Yep.
So all the physicists went to Vegas.
And what happens
A
in
week
Vegas?
later,
Yeah.
there's a newspaper headline, physicist in town, lowest casino take ever. The American Physical Society was told to never return to the city.
Oh, that's why. Okay, this
It's not that we knew the odd, it's we just didn't play. Will you give me one conspiracy theory?
I will later.
Cliffhanger. We'll be right back. Guys, your friends about the show.
I want everybody to feel smarter coming out of here.
No!
To see what everyone else has seen and think what no one else has thought. Well, if you've never seen an elephant, you'd have to line up all the people testifying. You know, they have a big rubbery hose coming out the front, and they breathe through it. Said it is not comforting for the government. Said it is not comforting.
Hang on.
Some were drones, maybe some others were
First show up because
to Vegas.
Where is it?
And what happens
a
in
week
Vegas?
later?
There we go. Okay.
There's a he just didn't play. Will you give me one conspiracy theory?
I will later.
Cliffhanger. We'll be right back.
Perfect.
And continuing 10 friends to people.
A good place for camouflage.
No. So here's where the aliens should not show up.
Okay.
Okay, or maybe they should.
I won over $1,000. I won over $1,000 at Trump's casino in Atlantic City. I hear the buyers won on that one too. The bank as well. If I ever become a millionaire, I would spend it in a single day, and I would still be the same person the next day. I think $1 million is not hard to spend in one day. I think that, you know, the scale from the little contests and like questions we used to ask each other when we were kids has definitely changed. I think it's more like if you had $1 billion, what would you do? You know. Now that would be hard to spend in one day. If you had like $1 billion, and not, I mean like liquid. If you just had like ones, you know, in like a massive warehouse. 10 massive warehouses. If you just had like $1 billion, how would you do that? And then $1 million, like you have to have it like in a physical currency. I think having it in physical currency makes you have to be more creative to figure out what you're gonna do with it. So I don't know how the fuck you would ever spend $1 billion of physical money.
If the alien lands at Comic-Con,
Problem.
they'll go back home saying they're just like us.
Yeah.
I kind of like Comic-Con people.
Yeah.
The biggest fight they'll ever get into
I do
is
too.
like with lightsabers in the cafeteria over whether their costume is more accurate.
Yes.
If I had that much money, my house would have an underground target range. Well, there's also like some like decommissioned missile silos that people have been seeing on like Zillow, and I would definitely want one of those. I'd turn it into my supervillain compound. I would have like, you know, entire like biospheres on different floors, and I would have like a whole like entertainment center, like a whole entertainment complex on one of the floors. Like if I just had fuck you money, like if I just had all the money in the world, like just more money than any other person could ever have, I would be living in like the side of a fucking volcano or in a decommissioned missile silo. Hey, or maybe even active missile silo. I don't know. Well, no, because of the government. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I could recommission it. That'd be my own independent power.
You cannot imagine Comic-Con nerds in a geopolitical armed conflict.
Yes.
That's not how that works.
There's some veterans who
What
are
about New
also
Jersey? There were all
big
these
nerds.
There were all these sightings, people said.
There was. I was interviewed on CNN when that happened because there were these sightings. Maybe some were drones. Maybe some others were airplanes coming
They were
into the
drones.
two airports.
Yeah, okay, or airplanes.
Newark Airport and Teterboro.
Yes.
There's a rich person who knows Teterboro.
Get a ride with that person on the way
Man,
out.
you didn't even pause.
Teterboro.
What's the name? Oh, Teterboro. I think it's Teterboro. Yeah. That's where private
good.
jets land.
Yes. Only
Teterboro.
private.
Oh, and
Yes,
take off. Yes,
yes.
thank you. So, and some might have been drones, but there were some that were not explained.
Okay.
And so they asked lawmakers, and the Pentagon commented,
Yeah.
and they said, Pentagon said, we don't know what they all are, but we know they're safe.
Yeah.
Those two phrases do not belong in the same sentence.
No, they
I
all
said
are,
this
but
on
we know
CNN.
they're safe.
I said, it is not comforting for the government, for the Pentagon to say you do not know what they all.
I'm talking about having at least 265 million. 1 million isn't that much these days. I'm saying let's go a straight billion. Let's say someone just gives you like $1 billion. They rock up to your house, and they tell you like, all right, listen, I got $1 billion. Don't ask me how or why, but it's all physical. It's all in like vehicles and warehouses, and it's a physical amount of money that and you got to spend it as quick as possible. And if I see you lagging, I'm going to take it all away. You know, $1 billion. I would hopefully be able to take that and get a few cashier's checks, try to reduce the load a little bit, and then I'd go buy one of those decommissioned missile silos, and then live in it for the rest of my days, and then get everything I ever wanted.
All are, but then you're going to tell me that
I'd have
they're
so
safe.
much candy.
That
I would
does
die.
not work with me,
I think
okay?
I would die.
But
I think
what
I would die
did
very
tell
quickly
them
after getting that amount of money.
You know, I'm an earthling.
Because I'd have
so all I
candy,
really
ice
know are
cream, pizza,
earthling values.
man. Like I
But
would
if
never eat
were
healthy
an
again.
Alien?
I'd probably still eat healthy.
And I'm visiting Earth?
Yeah.
I'm thinking the first place I visit would not be northern New Jersey. I'm just, no offense to New Jersey people, but of all the places to visit, Tahiti, the Great Pyramids.
I gotta agree with
him. The Barrier Reef.
Yes.
I don't
You
know
go
that
to
I
New
would
Jersey?
necessarily want to
Really?
visit Jersey as an alien.
That's why I found the alien hypothesis incredulous in that example.
So not Northern New Jersey, not Vegas, maybe Comic-Con. We'll see.
Comic-Con,
I
definitely.
like the title of
Definitely
your book,
Comic-Con.
Neil, Take Me to Your Leader, and I know we imagine this is
put it
what.
up like this.
Yes,
Too big.
yes, so I publisher. Okay. Neil, by the way, felt this for the first
Wants
time.
people to buy it.
backstage.
Yeah, it just came out like Friday, and this is the first book I've been able to touch.
Let's get philosophical for a second.
Love it.
There's some tension in your book, Neil. Did you feel the tension? Like
when Bender became human and died in a week. Yep, exactly like that.
you felt the tension in
Straight
your
up.
marriage? Did you feel the tension in your book?
When you take
No.
the
So
there's a
safety
tension
rails
in your
off,
book.
I know what the tension
what
is.
are we capable
It's
of?
the urge
well,
to want
dying
to believe
early.
all the eyewitnesses, juxtaposed with my natural skepticism as a scientist.
Oh no, it's
Is that not the
that's
tension that you felt? What is the tension you
The
felt?
tension I felt is a tension about all of us, not you specifically, but all of us, which is that there's this desire. But I do want to hear about that one. We're going to get to that one. There's this desire, like we're very self-centered. We think the Earth revolves around us. We think the hottest chick on our planet is Miss Universe, as you point out.
There are very literal people here who believe that we are the center of the universe and that we are the only intelligent beings in the universe. Absolutely, absolutely.
Did they check Mars? You know,
And it's
Why-
because
anything
we're the
that's
best.
Earthwide, we say it's universal. No, it's not. It's Earthwide.
Yeah.
Get your language straight.
Totally.
Miss Universe is Miss Earth. Okay.
Way to
Get me
demote
started.
Miss Mexico, I believe it is right now. And then on the other side, there's also
Is that right? Miss Mexico is Miss Universe?
right now. Yeah.
Cool.
But we also have at the same time what you have called the gap of the gods, the
God of the Gaps.
God of the gaps.
Yeah.
This desire to we think we're the center of the universe. At the same time, we feel powerless. We want to explain things by God, by aliens, by simulation theory. I'm just curious how you think we hold these two irreconcilable truths, and what percentage is the right percentage for each of us to have inside of
Yeah,
us.
I don't want to prescribe in a free country how people should think about any of this.
Yeah.
I help you out, give you
Yeah.
some
No,
platforms
for
to
real.
stand on that has some firmness to it. But you go back in the day when a storm would ravage the coast, and they say, "Oh, Poseidon is angered. We must sacrifice something at Poseidon's temple."
At
So
least a
Poseidon
couple of
explained
goats.
that,
There's at
and
least a
everybody
few
was just
goats you
fine.
got to take out.
But lightning bolt would strike. Oh, Zeus was angry.
Gotta be-
Later
gotta
on,
be
Jupiter
Poseidon.
is angry. So philosophers call this God of the gaps, where you don't quite understand something in the natural
So it's
world.
God.
You invoke the wrath or the grace of God as an account. God of the gaps. What I have noticed in recent years is now if somebody sees something in the sky they can't explain, there's like alien of the gaps, except that doesn't have the same resonance. So I changed it to aliens of our ignorance. There's a light in the sky moving in a way I don't understand. Must be
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing that I've been saying these past couple of days when we've been going over this stuff. It's there's so many things that could be going on. Like it could be aliens. It could be aliens. It could be advanced adversarial military stuff. It could be our own military. It could be military games. It could be private aerospace or aeronautical agencies that are testing something. Like there's so many things that these things could be. It's just such a wild thing to jump to the conclusion of, oh well, it's definitely aliens. And if you can't explain that, then you have to go into these cognitive dissonance loops where you're like, oh well, no, it's aliens, but you guys are covering it up. Or no, it's aliens, but it's actually not aliens, it's angels. Oh no, it's aliens, but it's not actually aliens, it's actually what demons manifest as. We have to try and reach for something else just to make sense of whatever it is that we're not experiencing and think we should be experiencing. Whatever doesn't comport with what our idea of reality is.
aliens. There's a glow in the horizon. It must be aliens.
Yep.
You don't understand it. Rather than I have no idea what I'm looking at, and then just move on with your life. So we require of scientists, generally not so, but everybody
Which
else
is not
require-
which is not a bad position to take if you don't. And like I encounter this a lot when I talk to Christians as an atheist. Like they're like, oh well, what? Don't you ever wonder about this or that? And I'm like, no, fuck, man, I don't give a shit about anything that happens beyond what influences my personal reality, because I have priorities in life. Like I got a wife I got to take care of, I got dogs I got to take care of, I got a functioning household that I got to maintain, and like I got a business that I got to run. Like I'm not sitting here thinking about existentially where I came from in this universe or where I'm going or anything like that. It's just you figure out that, or you figure one day that maybe I don't have the answer, and then you move on. You move on to other things. That's why
people who tend to be more analytical might be more relaxed, or they might be more, or not relaxed, but they might be more secure in their knowledge of the world because they know so much about it. Like, they know that these existential things aren't going to destroy our way of life or our well-being or anything like that, because like that's how nature works. There's more peace in that. Knowing that there's not some like higher power to capitulate to when something goes wrong, that puts the power back in our hands. I think that's good as human beings to be able to have, you know? Freedom. That's, if you fuckers care about freedom, if you fuckers on the right care about freedom, stop being religious.
Cares that every question have an answer that they can go home with. But as a scientist, you must learn to love the questions themselves, lest your bias influence the answer that you derive, just to make you happy to go home with an answer rather than to be steeped in the ignorance that we actually cherish. I cherish ignorance. Ignorance is not a bad word. It's just a place I have yet to tread.
It's just a thing, yeah.
And not only that, as the area of our knowledge grows, so too does the perimeter of our ignorance.
I love that.
So I don't see any ending here between what we discover.
MAGA is just Scientology for Republicans. Well, it is a cult. So I'll agree with you there. It is indeed a cult. I think Scientology has a little bit more cool lore behind it. But if any of the emerging UAP stuff with Hollow Earth and reptilians, that if that was ever true, then that would make for a pretty interesting story as well. I just don't think that's what's happening here, unfortunately. It would be cool. Like Mulder, I want to believe. But I don't think that's what's happening, unfortunately. I think they are just trying to cover up for their trafficking and abuse of children, unfortunately. I wish it were something else. I wish it really were aliens, and that reptilians really did live in the Hollow Earth.
And where we might ultimately land.
You have wanted to be abducted.
All the time.
But it hasn't happened for you, I'm sorry.
It hasn't. There's even a book written by a UFO expert called How to Avoid Being Abducted by Aliens. And I violated every suggestion in that book.
You know, Neil, they say that if you're like a single woman dating in New York, they say like it will happen for you when you least think about it. So maybe tonight,
When
like,
what will happen?
you'll meet the man.
When you're the most at
You'll meet the
ease.
alien.
Right after we talk about aliens,
yes,
right?
That's true. Hey, they could have a Captain Kirk proclivity. I'm not judging Peterborough over there. But have you ever, we've seen all this evidence. Not evidence. Sorry, I want to correct myself. I saw you.
Well, there's testimony.
There's testimony.
No end of testimony.
Yeah, and some of the testimony comes from like, you know, a Commander David Favor, who spent 18 years up there in the skies flying around. U.S. Air Force David Grush testifying before Congress.
Yeah.
Did you, at any point, did you feel tempted, interested, intrigued, or were you skeptical throughout? I'm curious, when you're watching that happen.
Lowell, thank you for the agreement, but look deeper and observe the structure of both. Of both what? Parties? Or Scientology and Republicans? I know quite a lot about Republicans. I do not know a heck of a lot about Scientology, but it functions like most other cults.
What is happening to you? That testimony. Are you watching the testimony?
Yeah, most of it. I watched a lot of it. Yeah.
So what is happening inside of you when? Because I imagine you like on a blackboard proving that it's not true. What
No.
they're saying.
I'm not here to say that people's testimonies are false. I'm here to say this is
Neil, what's
intriguing.
happening
Let's
inside of
investigate
you?
it further. But until you fork up the alien, it's just a matter of whether we believe you or not.
Yep.
It's like, do you believe in elephants?
Show
Well,
me the
if you've
aliens.
never seen an
Oh,
elephant,
you know, I don't think Jerry Maguire is new enough anymore for people to really understand that reference. So when I say that, I'm referencing the nearly 20 years old movie, I believe, Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr., both real upstanding individuals.
you'd have to line up all the people testifying. You know, they have a big rubbery hose coming out the front, and they breathe through it, they eat through it, they pick stuff up with it, then they have this ivory thing sticking out, these two teeth that's sticking out. They got big ears and big old tree trunks for legs. You say this person is crazy, plumb crazy.
No way.
You gotta believe me. And then, so
And
it's
they
a
never
2-hour
forget
documentary.
either. They never forget. All right? They never forget. They never fucking forget. They just never forget. Yes, MAGA and Scientology literally mirrors of each other in their structures. But yeah, because MAGA is a cult. All you got to do is look up the key factors of what makes up a cult, and you've got MAGA right there. It says MAGA bullet point by bullet point. Same thing with Scientology. I mean, I guess if you're talking about like the rich elite, like trying to buy their way into heaven, yeah. More eyes wide shut than Christianity, for sure. But definitely a cult. Cult really, the difference between a cult and a religion is just size of constituents, size of parish.
Yeah.
Lining people up,
Crowd
testifying.
The age of disclosure.
They're testifying that they're witness to elephants.
Did you?
Whereas, if they brought out the elephant in the first 5 minutes. It's a 10-minute documentary. 5 minutes to bring out the elephant and 5 minutes for the rolling credits.
Just show us the
What I really
elephants,
like about
man.
this book is it's also like cultural criticism about Hollywood. Did you watch Age of
Just show
Disclosure?
me
Did you
the
watch it from like
elephants.
start to finish, that movie?
I watched every moment of it, yes.
Okay.
And it's a parade of highly convincing, highly decorated, highly, and people giving calm testimony.
Of all the things that people talk about, the Tic Tac incident, the Hellfire,
The
any
TikTok.
the Tic Tac.
The Tic Tac.
Yeah.
It was like this fuzzy Tic Tac in the monochromatic screen
Yeah.
of Navy pilots that they could not explain.
MAGA a
And I
cult.
just thought,
OMG. Well, you could tell me how they're not a cult. Well, you can't really prove a negative, can't you? Or can you? You could try. I don't think you'd convince anybody, but you could try. I'm willing to be convinced that MAGA is not a cult, but I just have not seen otherwise.
you know, we all have a smartphone that can take high-resolution color images. So why is our best image of an alien a monochromatic Tic Tac in
yeah,
a
no
Navy
shit.
screen? So it would mean the aliens went
Fucking
to
8K
restricted naval
video.
airspace.
There's
Oh, here's what,
motherfuckers
maybe
with drones with like 8K video who are out here like looking through people's windows and shit and like trying to, you know, and dropping bombs on people, you know, like fuck. Like the technology that we have to catch images that would actually depict aliens is pretty advanced, I would say, and it seems kind of weird that, I mean, like, I know people kind of explain it away, they hand wave it by saying like, oh, well, they can alter reality, or they can distort the light around themselves, or around their ships, or whatever, like, or they're interdimensional beings, or something, you know, like, more reaching. Did we mute? We mute.
They could have a lot of hair and be very fuzzy.
we've got to allow that possibility.
Is there any one that you found more convincing than the others?
I found they were all convincing. One of them said he encountered an alien, and the alien had some infrared ray, and that he was harmed.
You hate drones too? I fly them up to 50 pounds. I don't hate drones. Drones are tools, good sir. They are meant to just be used for whatever purpose their owner has bought them for, you know?
Harmed by it and had to get medical attention. So I don't have a problem with any of their testimonies.
Yeah. You asked me for a conspiracy theory.
Mhm.
There is one.
I'm
11
ready.
scientists they say have gone missing or disappeared, dead in the last 2022 to
This is
2023.
hot right
Okay,
now.
so the-
This is hot right now. This is in the zeitgeist. I would urge you, if you're just sliding in here from your fucking phone on your lunch break right now, I would highly advise that you listen about this. This is a thing that is happening right now. This is actually happening. It's not a conspiracy theory. I don't know that it is aliens. I don't know that there's some kind of cover-up about it, but this is actually happening right now in our news.
Here's another
People
one.
are worried.
So the absence of evidence is not the same thing as the evidence of absence.
But if everything is,
So someone goes missing.
yeah,
Do you have their body? That would be evidence of absence.
yes,
But otherwise, you have an absence of evidence. If they're just missing, maybe they're in the Bahamas. I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
Or maybe the aliens took them. In Close Encounters of the Third Kind,
There you go.
we had all these stories about.
There you go. Neil deGrasse Tyson, Neil Patrick Harris, the child star of Doogie Howser, has proven beyond all shadows of all doubts that the missing scientists today in the news right now, very, very, very present, are actually have been abducted by aliens. That is it. There is no more proof that needs to be established. Neil Patrick Harris himself has said it.
Military pilots disappearing, and the aliens had them, and they brought them back, and they got repatriated, or whatever the word is, back to American soil.
Okay, so I like the title. Take me.
Growing Up in Scientology is a YouTube channel. He's outside one of their headquarters every Friday evening protesting. He writes cult on the sidewalk outside of the front doors. Yeah, I mean, I used to tour the facility in San Francisco in North Beach quite often. When I would get a couple of drinks in me, be a little bit tipsy, I'd be like, yeah, what can you guys tell me about Scientology? I mean, I didn't have a YouTube channel at the time. It was a little before people were going around with cell phones recording everything, but it was fun. It's good times.
Me too, leader.
Thank you.
I like
Had a
that.
lot
I
of
think
fun.
this is what we think they would say to us. But also, I have seen the film Love Actually. Have you seen the film Love
No, I have
Actually?
not.
Good. Here's the scoop on the story. A British guy comes to America. He has a lot to do in America. He doesn't say, take me
That's,
to America. He
Rick.
comes and he hangs out in a hot tub with
Rick
hot
from,
American chicks. So why do you think an alien
Rick
would
from
want to
The
see our
Walking Dead.
leader
Oh, that's
versus
an alien?
explore?
Wait.
No, he's just a person in that movie.
No, he's-
Oh, okay.
Now you wanted to see the movie because he thought
I mean,
it was
Okay, so would
I mean, Andrew Lincoln himself might be an alien, but no, Rick was not an alien.
so you're asking, would the alien want to go into a hot tub with hot women?
Yeah. I mean, they might meet our leaders there,
Or-
actually, these days. That, by
Sounds
the way,
like it might have been hilarious. It was indeed hilarious. We'd walk in with like a group of 3 or 4 of us after getting lunch or dinner in North Beach, and we would just talk to them about Scientology. Sometimes we would just sit there and entertain them for like hours and hours. I had nowhere else to go, so why not?
Did you see what she did there?
That's a nonpartisan joke because we now know that hot tubs are an equal opportunity employer. But you really think they would want to go to our leader?
I think they want to go to the person in charge, whether or not it's our leader.
Yeah,
And their judgment, they will see our radio waves passing through space. Our cultural emissaries are early TV shows whose radio waves have escaped Earth and are now like 70, 80 light years away.
Yeah.
So some of the early ones are the...
So it would likely be that the only idea that they have of what humanity is like is from pop culture. And so therefore, I think the people they would want to talk to the most would be celebrities. Isn't that fucking strange?
Duty radio show. Another one...
Wojtek at asterisk goose. It would be really funny if Neil deGrasse Tyson was a comedian, not an astrophysicist. Why would that be funny? It's the fact that he's an astrophysicist answering questions of a comedian that makes this funny. Did they try to get you to read Dianetics? No, they wanted me to buy it. And since then, I had heard that they were giving away Dianetics for free, and I was like, go fuck yourself. I saw like there's an infomercial on TV that I saw after I talked to them, where it was like, call this number and get Dianetics for free, and they wanted like $30 for it. What's the deal with leadership and hierarchical thinking? Do you think it's best for them to go to the leader or just appear in the skies and say hello? I don't know what's best for them. I would guess that they probably, I don't know, would just want to like talk to celebrities. I honestly think they would just want to talk to celebrities. All hail the atheist. Oh, thank you for hailing me. I appreciate it. I'm so wonderful and in charge. Supreme Court of Vibes? You're fucking right. And self-appointed judge of what counts as evidence. Well, hell fucking yeah, I am. Whose rulings are binding in exactly one jurisdiction, their own imagination. No. My rulings are binding everywhere. I am actually the person who writes the law for all principalities in America. I don't know if you knew that. I am the arbiter judge and the final opinion and the final say on what happens at all times. I don't know if you knew that, Knight of Kadash. But it's true. Don't check up on that.
Might be the honeymooners. You'll learn how men and women treat
They want
each
to see
other.
the best WoW player,
You'll
let's
see
be real.
Ralph Brandon
Probably.
say, to the moon, Alice!
Probably.
Gesturing with his fist. People used to laugh at that back then.
What is
just to
that?
show you.
Where's that from?
What planet are you from?
I don't know that. I grew up in Indonesia. Last time Neil taught me about Rick and Morty, so I'm getting my fill.
Oh, I visited Indonesia for the first time recently. I did.
Honeymoon.
I went to Bali.
Very nice.
Ralph
Yes.
Cramden, not
Did
exactly
you fly from Peterborough, Neil?
the least wife beating of all the TV dads. They want to. Do you think it would be better for the aliens to go directly to Trump and set up everything? Well, why would they go to America's leader? Wouldn't they go to I don't know, as opposed to any other world leader? And how do they know who the leaders are? Like they wouldn't have I don't know. Maybe they would have seen our news if TV gets out there, then they would have seen our network news probably, so they would know, I guess, who our leaders are. Who else? EU Commission? I think they would try to go to the largest gathering of leaders, right? Or they would find some way to try to communicate with us to assemble our leaders or something. It's communication, right? I would think that smart members of another race, smart enough to be sent here, would be smart enough to ask us for a way to communicate better, and then a way to communicate to the people, meaning through their leadership. I don't know. And perhaps Donald Trump would be included in that. I'm not saying that he would be excluded. I'm just saying that I don't know that they would instantly know to come to America. It's not like we have a big fucking spotlight that says this is where civilization is, because there are plenty of other civilized nations. You know what I mean? I don't know. I would say probably they would try to contact us and then find some kind of gathering of leadership, or make a gathering of leadership or something, There'd have to be redundancies in place, because what if they just destroy everyone there, and then they're see, now you guys have no leaders left. We now invade.
No. Okay.
So
So would the alien want to go to a hot tub?
Yes.
Or to our leader? And so all I'm saying is that in
hot
these
tub.
waves of radio, they would see people who we thought were important in an interesting sequence. They'll see Clark Gable, that everyone was talking about in the 1930s and 40s. Then they'll see Marilyn Monroe. They'll see people who are cultural icons. Why wouldn't they assume that those are our leaders?
How do you know that we don't already have a space wall, okay? There are plenty of Christians who believe that the earth is flat and there's just a fucking dome of water around us. It'd be weird
to try and disprove them by actually going out to space. How dare you? How hateful, Skippy. How hateful are you? That's so hateful.
There's way more content of them in these escape radio waves than any elected official or any king or queen. And so you just follow this in right on up to Taylor Swift today, or even athletes like Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Oh, God, don't go to Taylor Swift.
I'm thinking if they come and they ask, take me to your
No,
league, they might
that'd
be
be fine.
expecting us to take it to one of them. I just want to keep that open.
You know where I'm taking it?
Where?
To you.
Oh, yes, definitely.
I'm definitely calling you. We got bring him to
Call
you.
me.
Yeah.
Call me. Now, as whether they'd want to go in the hot tub. So here's the thing.
Oh, no.
You remember Captain Kirk? Well, you're from Indonesia. You remember Captain Kirk?
I know Captain Kirk.
But do you know his habits, his galactic habits? Okay?
Yeah.
They go to some planet.
He loves the alien movies.
They love him some aliens. And that she'd be like blue or green, very shapely.
Yeah.
And he would kiss them. He would kiss them and they'd say, what is kiss? Oh, that's an earth emotion. And then the camera would drift away and you wouldn't see them for the next scene.
Uh-oh.
So my man is getting alien booty across the galaxy.
Woo!
Okay? Now, here's an interesting fact.
Please.
The very first kiss between a black person and a white person
Star Trek.
was with Lieutenant Uhura and Captain Kirk in a single episode of Star Trek. She is brown skinned and 100% human.
And that was
the
weirder.
show got
That was
hate
weirder
mail
to
from Southern
people.
states.
They cared more about it being.
That was weirder to people than Kirk kissing an alien. Was Kirk kissing a black woman? Can you fucking believe like how steeped in hatred you have to be in order to find that less believable of a television show that he would kiss a black woman than an alien? Fuck, man. See, the country, I don't know that they would want to come to America. I don't know that they would want this place or anywhere else in the world. Maybe that's the reason why aliens haven't contacted us, because we are fucking terrible to each other.
An actual woman with dark. So what I'm saying is, if the aliens come to us, maybe they don't care who they jump in the hot tub with.
Yeah, that's
just the way Kirk didn't care going the other way. That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Another thing where we take our humanoid self-centerism and implant it onto robots.
Yeah, I mean, he's a
make them look like us.
he's a
That's odd that
he's
you
a
make
loud
robots that
guy.
look like us, 'cause
He
there's
says
nothing
things that a lot of people
enviable
may not
about the human form.
Speak for
may
yourself,
not
Neil.
approve of for their children.
No. I'll tell you. No. So if I want
Hey, do you
a
remember
robot
all that
will
alien
drive my
pussy I
car,
used to get?
I'll just make the car the robot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So people
Come on,
talk about a robot
Junior.
doing it. No, I'm
Time
getting
to
a
step
robot
away
that's
from the old
specific to
man.
my task, and it'll do it perfectly. And
I was on Priceline.
I don't need something that has arms and legs and feet. But who says 5 fingers is the best? Maybe 8. Maybe an octopus. Here's what you should fear.
What?
An octopus captures you from Earth and imprisons you in a room that has a door with 3 doorknobs.
Fuck.
No lock required.
Yeah.
You're done. You cannot open that door. Okay? Yeah. You
need
your
to-
2 knees. So
Posable toes.
our but you have to like do. And then open. What are you doing? No. So, but whereas an octopus can just do it like that. So you take our bodies as though it's something special.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Okay.
At all.
I'm gonna have 2 AI questions for you, then we're gonna open it up. Could
Two
we
AI
ever
questions.
become alien
Oh,
ourselves by putting
I thought she meant 2 questions written by AI for some reason. I don't know why I thought that.
so much silicon inside of ourselves? I say this because we are at a
What
point
part of
where
your anatomy are you putting the silicone?
any orifice? No, I'm kidding. So but honestly, we're on the precipice of AI. We're talking about
All right,
Neuralink. We're
calm
talking about
down,
cyborg
you guys.
human.
You're
Is
getting
it
way too
possible that
saucy.
we will become alien to ourselves, as you write, alien to us, one of your chapters, through the amount of technology that we're allowing and imbuing into ourselves?
So it wouldn't even have to be technology. If we master the genome, we can just splice stuff into us that the human species had never had before. In here, I talk about what might be possible. What are the ways of being alive in the universe? Earth has an excellent sampling of this. 90-something.
Like, there's those ideas that we only use a certain percentage of our brain. I mean, we use all of it, but it's like only different areas light up during certain thought processes. And like with our muscles too, like our muscles are actually capable of a hell of a lot more than we give them credit for. Like the hysterical strength, like when a woman is trying to save her child from like a being under a car or something like that, and she's able to lift the car in order to save the child. It's that kind of stuff. Like we have a lot of we got that monkey strength, but it's like it's hidden under a lot of like self-preservation mechanics that our body goes through, because it can destroy our muscles to lift a car. But we might be able to do it for a little bit, but it tear your muscles and shit. So our brain kind of like stops us from realizing our full potential. And so if we could, women flipping cars, now that would be cool. But what he's talking about through manipulating the genome is we could like have Gattaca type life. Like we could actually like just engineer children to be like preternaturally strong. Like you could have someone that's like at the peak of human physical condition if you were able to able to splice that into the genome.
something percent.
I don't know how, and I don't know how effective that would be. I would have to wait to see results, but you could potentially have like a super soldier, like Captain America type guys rolling around just because you fucked with an embryo.
All species on Earth that have ever lived are now extinct because they didn't make it through some transition in the ecosphere. So there's a place it's in Canada, called what's it called? The what? Thank you. The Burgess Shale. We got a nerd in the back row.
Damn, girl.
So there's a place called the Burgess Shale.
Got some science communicators in the crowd.
Microscopic, a tiny life forms that would not have otherwise been preserved as fossils were it not for the very special geologic conditions where they all were dead, died. And you can just, the life forms with all manner of appendages and eyeballs in places. And you look at that and say, wow, this is a template for life to imagine ways of being alive. And so if you need to do that,
So fucking weird.
check it out. And if you're going to create the next
So
alien in the
fucking
next
weird.
Alien movie, you should look at that first. Or look at all the aliens in Rick and Morty.
Yes. Okay. I got to interrupt you, though, because you said next Alien movie. I don't know, Neil, if you know that you are the star of a movie trailer that has gone viral on the internet these days. Are you aware?
This is not that movie trailer made completely by AI.
Yes, this is it.
Okay, so
2.5
if that's the one I'm thinking of, is made without my permission, without my consent, without my knowledge. My phone blew up.
Now, if you were here yesterday, you saw this trailer, and if they don't show it here, I'm willing to show it again, though I don't want to promote AI, but it is really funny. So if we do play it again, it'll be right at the end of the stream. So let me know if you want to see that.
Like 12 hours after this posted. Neil, did you know? Have you seen this?
They might just show it here, which is fine, but yeah.
And then I saw it.
Because I'm happy to promote her, I'm not happy to promote AI.
And I found it disturbingly entertaining.
All right.
It's good.
And it's called. It's a trailer for a
good.
non-existent movie, and it's.
They have a projection screen up, so I'm hoping they're going to show it. It's good. It's good. I hate AI, but it is good.
Called.
Hey Corey, how's it going? Long time no see. The grass probably scanned his face and gave consent if it's AI.
High hard.
I don't think he did.
Yes. Not to be confused with High Hard with a Vengeance. Let's play it.
Yeah, they're playing it. Yes.
The laws of physics were literally being destroyed.
That's how you.
Hang on.
Maybe I am crazy. This was supposed to be a timeline. And somehow we ended up over here. This isn't a glitch. Let it go.
Timeline. In the timeline.
Listen to me very carefully. I'm gonna get you.
The scientists are now saying there are a series of baffling incidents that appear to defy the known laws of physics.
Mr. Fucking Beast!
That doesn't add up anymore. Which means something is changing the world.
That fucking roll, dude. He was like a ninja. He did like a ninja roll. This is so good.
Hello, Neil.
He's fucking back.
To divide everything by
He's
zero.
fucking back.
Ha, 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 ha.
Let me think,
And was that a frog? Like what came out of the television?
They're getting away.
To be honest, this whole theory sounds pretty out there. You really shouldn't have called me, Neil. You don't understand. He's collapsing.
Phil fucking Gates. I'm surprised he wasn't sucking on adrenochrome the whole time.
I'm not going back now!
To jail.
In the fucking drones.
So it was all a big fat lie!
I thought I told you to shut him down. It's not what you think.
I like that it sounds like Elon is the villain of this movie. It's like he's the one that's like trying to send out the drones, and but is he working with Stephen Hawking, or is this a three-pronged, like a Steven Spielberg type movie? Mamdani! Fucking punches Stephen fucking Hawking. Oh my lord. Now, I think we should take a second to thank both God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit for whoever made that.
It is both a sin against God and a blessing to man. I think that anyone who doesn't like that trailer is probably insane. Is probably legitimately insane. Because that is probably the best movie trailer that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I want nothing more than that movie to be made right now. Even if it's with AI. I need it. I need it to exist in the world.
Is that not completely off the chain? It didn't leave any trope unturned.
Yes.
This is a trailer based on a true story. It is. He's living it right now.
It's got an alien, a black hole, a wormhole, and I didn't know initially until it was explained to me what I was doing in the sauna with Bill Gates.
That was a COVID vaccine.
That's the COVID.
No,
not the vaccine. No,
Oh,
those are the
chips.
the microchips.
Oh, the microchips.
That he's injecting into
No,
me.
no, but that was
The RNA, the mRNA vaccine microchips.
The conspiracy theory was that the vaccines contain the microchips. So can you find, this is like a spot the difference or can you find one truism in that whole trailer? One thing that would hold true according to the laws of physics or Neil deGrasse Tyson?
All of it, but he's not at liberty to discuss.
I said.
I think the whole point is that nothing. Yeah, it was
Him shooting a gun.
So what I noticed, because
That's the most unbelievable part of this whole thing is him shooting a gun.
if I'm represented, I'm a little more
And physically attacking Stephen Hawking.
sensitive to how I'm represented.
The guy was in a fucking wheelchair. Like you could just pull the plug on his chair. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to attack him. Put a rock under his tire. Is it too soon? And that's ableism, isn't it? Interesting how the left side is quick to jump in defense of Big Pharma and Big Med, but quick to sink everything else. Shit, isn't that just the fucking boring-ass dystopia that we live in? I gotta perform!
Yes.
I'm taller than the person representing me in that.
Very much.
Yeah, because I have, a little middle-aged man belly, but the way...
Stand up, Neil, so people see.
Being played by Anthony Mackie.
Tall.
I'm
Tall.
proud of my little... Oh, yeah, no,
And this is me without heels, see? That's the...
Oh, okay.
Gives you a sense.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's a tall man. He's tall.
So...
Don't. As a man, Neil deGrasse Tyson, as a man who has been on stage, and who, just somebody who has been on footage, I must advise that you take precautions and not put your hand on a woman's head and move her down. It doesn't look that wrong, but it can be misinterpreted.
Oh, can I show you something real quick?
Yeah.
This is...
We're going to dance?
Just a little bit...
Bill Nye gave me a dance lesson.
Interdimensional aliens are here.
Ballroom dance lesson. Let's see.
So you didn't ask me to give you ballroom dancing?
No, Candy?
I was on a competitive ballroom dance.
Bill Nye
team.
did it after.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wait.
Okay, hang on. Whoa. You don't have to drop Bill
what are we
Nye's
doing
name
with
like
physics?
he's some fucking expert on something.
Take your shoes off.
Okay. I did this with Diplo.
Okay.
Iowan corn is goated? Is it? What's the difference between Iowan corn and other corn? Is Iowa known for its corn production? I didn't know that was an area of interest, was the different regions that corn is grown in. If that was a point of pride for people. I'm willing to hear it.
Yeah?
Okay, stand next to me.
Yes.
Okay, do we see this height difference? Okay. So, now sit down in a chair.
Or is that, am I to assume that those are supposed to be anti-Jewish lightning bolts? Are you trying to say that you're a Nazi or something? Is that an SS sort of thing? Pretty weird if so.
Here.
Yeah. I'm saying. It's the equalizer.
Most of people's height is in their legs. That's why
agreed. I would
chairs in a car, the driver's seat, moves a lot forward and back and very little up and down. It just doesn't have to. Okay, so my point is...
Yes, tell us more.
The way I was running like a chubby little kid in this. It was waddling as I ran.
But you had that flip.
That was still kind of a clumsy flip. I can flip way better than that. So It was good. It was a good maneuver.
Yeah.
But
What was that? I mean,
I'm
was
just
that like a
saying,
side-based somersault? Like, what was it? He did like a roll, out of his cubicle.
That was a chubby, short Neil.
Yeah.
And with my little middle-aged man belly,
guy wasn't short.
At my height,
He wasn't short.
I
He
would
was like
still
maybe
look a little
5'9"
more graceful than what was
5'9"
shown.
or something like
all I'm
that.
saying.
That's not
Yes,
too short.
I think you would.
Yeah.
Would you want to make that movie if approached to make Pie Hard with that particular
I mean, would I
cast of
give
characters?
permission to the
Do
AI
it.
to create me for it? Is that what you're asking?
No,
me?
like if you were offered a role in a Hollywood film
No.
with this.
No. Commission them to make the AI thing. Because otherwise, you're not going to be able to do all the physical stuff that's required. Just have them do special effects or something. But make the movie. Please make this movie. Please make the
kind
movie.
of premise where you would bond
Okay.
with Sam Bankman-Fried against Elizabeth Holmes.
After I bust him out of jail
Yes,
with
yeah.
my Neil's ice cream truck. Did
Yeah.
you see? It was an ice cream truck.
Yeah.
It would be
You're
called.
breaking that
It would be
trailer.
called.
So
Neil's
I
Ice
don't
Cream.
have Hollywood ambitions.
Okay.
Although I have a cameo in 6 Hollywood feature-length movies.
Give me a high 4 now.
So, but I have a very low bar.
Now that's an IMDb page right there. That is an IMDb page. I would settle for that. 8 credits? Okay, Neil.
Bar for what I'll agree to.
Speaking
Very low
credits,
bar.
probably.
I can tell because you're here for Smart Girl Dumb Questions at the Comedy Cellar. on Monday night.
So I have a cameo in Shark.
Yeah, Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes. I believe that's the one who we're trying to talk about right now is Elizabeth Holmes, who did like the triangle Illuminati symbol in her advertising, and who liked to talk in a very strange voice about pharmaceuticals, and then when you hear her sometimes on interviews, she accidentally drops that style of speech. Isn't that so weird?
Sharknado 6.
Guessing the other guy was the FTX guy. Yep. Sam Bankman-Fried.
I don't even think Mark
I thought it was Sam Altman at first.
Cuban went on Sharknado 6. He was in the early one.
And I have
So it's displaying alignment of anti-crypto,
in
anti-technology,
Ice Age
anti-investments.
5. You probably didn't know that there were 4 others.
Pro
of those.
pharma, I don't
And so-
know. I don't know if it's pro pharma because they make a joke about the mRNA microchips from the COVID vaccine. So I don't think it's pro pharma either. I think it's anti a lot of those things. But and the fact that Neil deGrasse Tyson is the hero of the movie kind of tells you where the person sits on the left or right scale, I think.
Is that a cartoon?
No.
No.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Sorry, it's a
yeah,
cartoon.
yeah.
So I'm an animated character
Yeah.
in that.
I don't know if that counts, Neil, but keep going.
Well, except it counts because I'm the only animated character drawn to look like the person voicing it. So
yeah.
it has a little astronomy vest,
Okay.
and
I
it's
love
got my hairline
It's just a political grouping. Yep.
and a mustache. So it's the only. Whereas none of the other characters look like their voices.
Yeah.
So,
In
what,
I'm
though?
kind of in it. But my
Yes.
point is, both of those franchises ended with that number.
Oh. You think this is going to be my last episode of Smart Girl Dumb Questions?
Oh no!
Okay.
I hope not. Should I
I
go
hope
back
not.
to where I was?
Well,
Okay.
no. You can
Okay.
be wherever I'm. Okay. Now we have some time for audience questions.
Oh, I
Can we
love
get
that.
All right, yeah, no, it's good. We made it through. I'm glad. I didn't want to have to continue this tomorrow. So I think that this was a wonderful cap to my 420 subby celebration. I think that this was a wonderful part 2 of the 2-parter UFO disclosure series, I guess you could say. The only other live stream days that I've done that have been multiple parts of a series have been the Skinwalker Tales, and that was considerably more boring. So this has been a lot more entertaining. And I'm glad that I could at least thoroughly debunk one of the most unexplained UAP phenomenon. You better believe I'm going to clip the fuck out of that and spread it all over goddamn YouTube, because there's no way that people out there don't know that that's a fucking flare. I find that extremely hard to believe. So we'll see. We'll see what I can find out, and maybe I'll make a video about it if I find that I've been massively, unrecognized in my ability to do that. Oh yeah, we did multiple episodes of Duke. That was indeed a quite the time.
I don't mind doing multiple days on the same subject. That's not something I've ever been opposed to. But sometimes, man, it can get like... It can get real dark, too. Like, there's... I think Duke wasn't as dark, but like... talking about what's his name, the quartering is pretty dark because he seems like such a sad guy, and I know, like, I feel like I could have been him, like, very easily, if I had just, like, if I had not had the support that I had, because I watched a video, like, basically talking about much more insight on his life than I had at the time. Like, this is maybe a couple weeks ago, but like, oh yeah, Helmet, have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. Like, I guess he, like, just felt really lonely for most of his life, and there was a video of him, like, it was just really sad. There's a video of him that was, where he was saying, like, yeah, you know, I'm doing this because I'm just lonely, and it sounds a lot like how I explain, like, the reason why I live stream, and it's just because, like, this is, like, my therapy, because I can't afford to go to a therapist, and they say the next best thing is to journal, and so this is, like, my journaling. You know, this is easier, and it allows me to share, like, my thoughts more in a real-time fashion. But, like, hearing Jeremy talk about it was, like, I don't know, it was sad and it was disappointing, and I definitely blame him for getting to where he did now, but I see that I could have easily become him if I had seen some of that early on success before I ever had a chance to, like, process any of the trauma that I had dealt with early on. Like, fuck, man. I could very easily have gone down, like, that alt-right pipeline. Like, I'm so grateful to... It makes me more grateful to have had the support network that I did later on in life. Certainly can't thank my mom for that. But yeah, thanks so much, guys. We're gonna cut it here. If you want to go ahead and swipe away, feel free to. But please subscribe before you do. I am trying to get those numbers up. 500 is the target, so it's not that much more left. And then after that, I got to get up to my 3,000 watch hours, and then we can finally monetize the channel. I can have channel memberships. We can do custom. I think it's like custom emojis or custom, like, things, badges or whatever, but that would be really cool. I would love to start a Patreon. I have to be able to get time away from work to be able to get time here. So monetizing the channel is the first step to that. But yeah, aside from that, I got nothing else for you. Thank you so much. You know, I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate you sticking around. To Raw One and Skippy and Helmet and all you guys. I really appreciate you sticking with me through the slow times, but I hope it'll pick up. You know, I hope to see more of you around. I hope to see more strangers around. I hope that some of you who have just seen a little bit of the live stream will tune into the next one if you found me at all interesting. And I vividly remember Oprah saying, "Look under your seats before giving the entire audience a car." That no longer exists in this timeline. Now the keys are brought out in boxes and given out. That is true, Niche Fan. Thank you so much for your insight. I would love to hear more of it tomorrow when we start at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But what you said is confusing. Reality's changing. Okay, yeah. No, I agree. See you tomorrow. Have a good one.